Daniel Negreanu is looking down at 6-5 offsuit, but he's up against his nemesis of 20 years, Phil Ivey, who's holding King Jack suited. Ivey raises to 75,000. Most players would probably fold in Daniel's spot.
No choice, can't fold it. Gotta see a flop in the big blind.
There's the call. So it's Daniel versus Phil.
Ivey is 64% favorite for now, but the flop comes 8-6-6 and Negreanu hits trips.
Eight of hearts.
I don't see Phil falling for this.
Phil checks too. I don't know how, but he can somehow feel Daniel is strong here.
A king on the turn.
Now I see him falling for it a little.
Negreanu wants Phil second-guessing every assumption. Wants him trapped between is he bluffing and is he setting me up? What looks like hesitation is actually misdirection. This is less about cards, more about control.
Daniel leads. Phil now with top pair.
Even if you think Daniel has a 6, you can't just go fold in top pair.
Negreanu's sizing here leaves Ivey about 3.5 to 1 on a call. And with top pair, that's usually a no-brainer. But what Daniel's really doing here is laying the groundwork for the river. He's planting the seed that says, if you call now, you're going to have to call big later. This is psychological compounding. Pressure applied in stages. Daniel is hoping that Phil did indeed hit that king on the turn, and he's going to try to make him sweat like a maniac.
He calls. The river is a jack.
Wow, Daniel is running better than Prefontaine.
Daniel value bets his trips. Phil forced to call with top 2.
Nope.
So obvious you have a 6. Got 350.
Trip sixes. Phil shows King Jack for top 2. Daniel's trip sixes take 5.
Good call, good call. Good thing you didn't raise. That was smart. You know what you're doing.
Daniel Negreanu has pocket kings.
Raises? Queen high.
Queen high?
He opens the pot to $1,200, a classic early position flex that targets the blinds and sets up a pot he can steer in position. Phil Hellmuth, smooth, calls, choosing pot control and range protection over a thin 3-bet. Eugene Kachelov comes along as well with ace-9, content to realize in position and take a multi-way flop against 2 ranges that can play face-up on ace-high textures. Kachelov checks the ace-high flop, protecting a top-pair hand with a middling kicker and letting the action declare itself. Negreanu checks behind. Pocket kings hate attacking into 2 players on an ace board, and the slowdown keeps weaker hands and bluffs alive while controlling the pot. Hellmuth takes the invitation and fires $1,200, a small stab meant to fold out nothing hands and price set against exactly these cautious checks. Kachelov calls, signaling he is not afraid of a little heat with top pair. Negreanu overcalls, a cagey line that keeps both ranges uncapped and disguises the true strength of kings by wearing the same hoodie as ace-X.
You too, Daniel?
Yeah.
My God.
You didn't expect 2 calls, right?
No,
Just one.
I was expecting 1 call.
No.
All 3 check the turn after the 8 rolls off. That card changes little. Kachelov sees no need to inflate with his kicker problem. Hellmuth's one-and-done bluff correctly shuts down into 2 sticky ranges, and Negreanu continues the sandbag, preserving the option to spring value or bluff catch on rivered scare cards. The river drops the king of clubs and the trap wakes up. Kachelov leads $4,200, thin value that hopes to get paid by worse aces and denies a free showdown to stubborn pairs. Negreanu answers with a raise to $14,200, selling a story consistent with a slow-played monster or a patient ace that improved, and crucially targeting the very hand Kachelov is value betting.
I think Phil's Hollywooding a bit here since he bet out on the flop.
Hellmuth gets out of the way, his earlier poke having run its course. Faced with a credible, disciplined raise from a player who never overbets his bluffs, Kachelov has to reassess whether ace-9 is really a cash-out hand or a tip jar.
And Eugene folds.
I had at least that.
Daniel Negreanu opens the action with ace-queen, one of those classic Broadway hands that works beautifully as a raise.
Come on, Daniel, every hand?
Yes, every hand.
Jeez.
Every hand till Saturday.
Saturday, he gets his highlights touched up.
But when Barbero calls with pocket deuces, he is entering the hand with a completely different script. Small pairs are not strong in isolation.
Go, Kenny.
Asham and Kenny call.
Here we go.
Got some of that loose cannon money.
For Negreanu, this looks like a board he can lean on. The paired deuce means there are fewer combinations of trips available, and with his pre-flop raise, he can credibly represent all the strong aces and overpairs. So he fires $3,000, aiming to pick up the pot uncontested or extract value from pairs below the ace. Barbero, though, is sitting on quads. If he raises here, he narrows Negreanu's range immediately to hands that can continue, and with quads, that is the last thing he wants. By just calling, he lets Negreanu's entire bluffing range stay alive, setting a trap that is as much psychological as mathematical. The turn brings the ace. This is where the hand shifts. For Negreanu, the ace is one of the best cards in the deck. His hand improves to top pair, top kicker, and it strengthens the story he's been telling since pre-flop. But this same card is a gift to Barbero. Now Negreanu is less likely to slow down, more likely to stack off, and completely unaware he is drawing dead. Negreanu checks, perhaps to control the size of the pot, but Barbero is not letting this street pass by. He bets $9,200. A number that looks perfectly believable as a value bet with a medium ace or even a stubborn pocket pair. Negreanu calls, convinced he is still far ahead of the likely range. Negreanu checks again, expecting Barbero to take a stab. Barbero obliges with $20,000, a sizing that pressures Negreanu's entire calling range but still looks callable with top pair. From Negreanu's seat, folding feels impossible.
I'm thinking like sixes or sevens. Sixes or sevens are good for me. I had you on ace-4, unfortunately, on the turn. So if you had ace-4, then you just made a straight. Huh.
Drop the stakes you play at in the comments and whether you're an online grinder or live game player. Let's see if we're running with high rollers or micro warriors.
God, I don't like that river. Such a good river for you. If you put me on jacks, right? You figure I have jacks, you have to bet that river card now. So many, I leveled myself with the pause in the turn. You know what I mean? On the turn, I studied, and like sort of changed my range in his eyes, which forces me to go like that.
Daniel calls.
I had the nuts.
Oh, that's good too. Quads!
Negreanu is looking down on 10-9 suited. Shlomi opens to $475 with pocket kings, the classic early position value raise that invites dominated high cards to make mistakes. Boniati flats behind, a routine set mine that keeps the opener wide and creates a pot where overpairs are forced to play multi-way. On the button, Negreanu overcalls with 10-9 suited. He buys position against a likely overpair, keeps the pot single raised so his connected hand can realize, and preserves a post-flop story that can credibly arrive at straights and two-pair on many middling runouts. With 3 players and deep stacks, Negreanu's plan is to control price now and fight for leverage later. The board rolls out wet and middle, exactly the texture that pressures an opener's range. Shlomi continuation bets $1,525 into 2 opponents to tax the spades and charge the gutters while protecting his likely overpair. Boniati steps aside, Negreanu continues. With top pair, strong kicker for this configuration, and position, calling is superior to raising. It keeps Shlomi's bluffs alive, avoids isolating versus the strongest value, and retains every turn card that can add equity or scare an overpair. He's now set up to maneuver without inflating the pot unnecessarily. The Queen of Hearts lands. That card is fine for kings, but improves Negreanu's believable value region to include Queen 9 and some 2-pair that could have peeled. Shlomi opts for a measured $2,125, continuing his value protection line, without bloating the pot on a card that helps the caller more than the pre-flop raiser. Negreanu calls again, disciplined and deliberate. He keeps his range uncapped, realizes equity with 10-9, and holds the option to seize the narrative on favorable rivers, or punish thin value bets with a polarizing raise. The river is the 8 of clubs, a quiet but meaningful shift that completes 6-7 and strengthens combos like 9-8 that Negreanu can absolutely show up with. Shlomi puts out a small $3,000 bet, more price setting than power, trying to get looked up by worse pairs while avoiding a big decision. Negreanu springs the trap to $12,800, polarizing himself to straights, 2-pair, or sets, and telling a story perfectly consistent with his passive turn. 10-9 is a sharp candidate. It blocks calls from Queen 9, doesn't block missed spades, and represents exactly the value holdings that beat an overpair.
Aces or kings? Can I say that, or is that illegal? Heads up. I can say what he has, but not what I have. Okay. I'm thinking aces or kings.
I appreciate you watching this far. Could you please give this video a like? Thank you.
And Shlomi's now thinking, if you've read me for aces or kings, surely you can beat aces or kings. I have to fold.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down at 10-7 offsuit, but Seaver has raised to $1,300 with pocket fives, and Hashem has called with Jack 10 suited.
Uh-oh, this is Daniel's favorite hand, and it's actually gotten him into trouble in the big game before.
Re-raises on the button to 5,200.
He knows Seaver's range is wide and Hashem's flat is vulnerable. Even though it's his favorite hand, he's trying to play the players, not the cards. This raise is about letting them know that he's going to give them a hard time this hand if they decide to play along.
Scott Seaver is really hoping Daniel has an overpair so that he has the right implied odds to make this call.
Hashem folded, so heads up to the flop. King, deuce, queen. Seaver checks the best hand.
Negreanu knows Seaver could easily have king-queen here after raising and then calling Daniel's re-raise pre-flop. But why would he check? Daniel smells weakness, and that's usually when he gets curious.
He reps, betting 6,200.
Looks like Scott's gonna peel.
He calls.
Hashem wants his cards back.
6 of spades on the turn. Seaver checks.
Daniel still got just 10 high. This is one of the dangers of having a favorite hand.
Daniel does not look like he's about to check. After just calling the flop and checking the turn, Negreanu is probably putting Seaver on a draw or the weak pocket pair he does indeed have. He's thinking, if I apply the right pressure now, Seaver might just fold and give me all the money.
Daniel does fire that third barrel, making it 14,200 to go.
I could justify Scott's call on the flop, thinking maybe Daniel would shut down after one bet, but Daniel certainly hasn't shut down.
Seaver keeps it going. He calls.
Seaver's totally stationing Negreanu.
You mean like a calling station?
Exactly.
4 clubs on the river. Seaver checks.
Sick.
Daniel fires 36,000.
Seaver is capped, checked every street, and never repped strength. Daniel has nothing, but he knows Seaver is weak enough to fold. This is a masterclass.
Folds the winner.
Phew-wee. He had me staring. I had my favorite hand. You know what that is?
10-7?
7 of diamonds and 10 of clubs specifically. Can't believe I got away with a bluff.
Negreanu is looking down on pocket deuces. Luca opens to 30K with pocket nines, a bread and butter early raise that covers a wide band of low and middling boards and pressures the offsuit broadways behind him. The hand wants callers who show up with overcards and then miss. It also doesn't mind playing smaller pots where it can value bet cleanly across safe runouts. Negreanu flat calls with pocket deuces. Small pairs love this configuration. He has position to control price. Stacks are deep enough to realize implied odds, and keeping it single raise preserves all the set and wheel runouts that print against one pair. Turning deuces into a 3-bet would just funnel Luca into strong overpairs and invite a 4-bet. Calling keeps the deck wide and the story flexible. The flop comes low and connected, exactly the texture where the caller can credibly have all the sets and the occasional 4-2 or 6-5. Luca makes the routine range C-bet for 28K. On this board, the small size folds out pure air, taxes random overcards like ace-queen, and keeps worse-made hands honest without bloating the pot or polarizing his range. Negreanu's raised to 95K. From this configuration is perfectly believable. He's repping sets, 2-pair like 6-5 suited, and some straights. With deuces, he isn't spinning it. He holds a live gutter to the wheel plus 2 cleanouts to a set, so he's applying pressure with real equity while seizing the narrative. The sizing forces overpairs and top pairs to define themselves now, rather than getting a cheap turn that could punish them. Luca's call protects his overpairs and some slow plays, but it also hands tempo to Negreanu and nudges Luca toward a bluff-catch posture on a lot of turns. He's inviting Negreanu to keep telling the story and hoping to catch him on a bad card. The turn pairs the 3 and Luca checks. It's a tricky card for both players. It slightly trims the number of set combos. Negreanu repped on the flop, while making overpairs feel a touch safer against bluffs and draws. Negreanu checks back. That's the disciplined pivot. Firing again would polarize on a card that dulls his set story and invites stubborn calls from exactly the hands he wants to move on the river. The river is the 8 of clubs, and Luca checks a 3rd time. After flop pressure and turn control, that 3rd check leaves his range heavy on single pair hands that hate facing a big ask.
Daniel bets ridiculously big, 400K.
Wow.
And Luca folds.
That was not the bet he was trying to induce. Daniel's reputation earns him a win there. Bluffs like that from him are few and far between.
Jennifer Tilly is looking down on 8-6 suited. Negreanu opens with ace-2 offsuit. That is a light but purposeful steal, using the ace as a blocker to reduce the chance he runs into a premium and leaning on position to realize whatever equity shows up later. Tilly answers with a re-raise. That choice is great against a suspected wide open because suited connectors play cleanly pulse flop, deny cheap realization to the opener, and set her up to attack a player who loves to take flops.
It's a little too small, Jen. Phil Lock is going to be upset with you after that raise size because it's too small.
Last time I took advice from you, I lost the tournament.
Sorry.
Negreanu calls rather than 4-betting. He keeps her range wide, carries the positional advantage into a pot that is not yet bloated, and quietly pockets the option to turn later cards into leverage, even when he misses.
Okay, now I'm going to do the dunk bet.
It's not a donk bet because you were the pre-flop raiser.
Oh, okay, it's not a dunk bet.
It's a continuation bet.
A continuation bet.
Tilly follows through for a small C-bet. The sizing stresses floats and gut shots, and keeps her range comfortably uncapped.
A lot of bad cards can come off, and then I can just bluff raise the turn or something stupid like that.
You could.
Turn a pair into a bluff. I'm really good at that. It's one of my big things Bill Reynolds taught me.
Negreanu does not have value, but he does have a plan. He calls to float, buying one more card and preserving the initiative advantage that comes from acting last. If she slows on the turn, he gets to tell the next chapter. If she barrels big, he can release cheaply and move on. The texture inches toward the middling wheelish territory that favors the caller. Tilly checks. That single check compresses her range away from very strong overpairs and toward one-pair hands and draws that prefer pot control. Negreanu seizes the mic with a bet. The number is not huge, but the message is loud. He denies a free card to overcards, pressures hands like ace-queen and king-jack that C-bet once, and begins building a story that can arrive at straights and two-pair by the river. His literal hand did not improve, however his distribution did, because the cards he credibly represent improved. Calling the flop to take it away on the turn is classic small ball pressure, and he executes it cleanly. This is the card that ties the room together, and the run-out connects squarely with the very suited connectors that defend 3-bet pots from the blinds. Tilly leads small. That type of sizing often functions as a blocker, a way to name a price with a hand that does not want to face a pot-sized bomb. To Negreanu, that looks like a door left slightly open. He chooses to kick it in and chips. The shove polarizes him to the straights and strong two-pair he has been representing since the turn.
We probably have the same hand. Oh, so sick. You have 9-jack, right?
Would that be the same hand as you have? Because if you did have that and you didn't call by now, it would be a little bizarre.
You're in Jennifer Tilly's seat. You have the straight. Negreanu shoves over your small lead. What's your move, snap call, or an impossible fold? And why in one sentence? Best clear answer gets pinned.
Oh, God.
Oh, you have a 6? You raised me with a 6 out of position?
No.
That's crazy talk.
Tilly folds.
Moron, mother.
Helmuth kicks things off with pocket deuce. This is a hand that only someone as wild as Phil Hellmuth can play when faced with a raise. Little does he know, his aggression will end up making him mad once again.
You were like drawing dead.
Right after making the call, Hellmuth plays one of his special cards. Complete shithousery. He directly calls out his opponent for drawing dead and bluffing him. Let's see if it will work out. Perkins completely unbothered by Hellmuth's antics calls with 8-4 suited. I guess these must be his lucky numbers, or else I don't see a reason why he would go three-way with these cards. The flop is here, and oh boy, does it deliver some drama. We have 5 with 2 jacks. Now it can be anyone's game. Let's see what Hellmuth will do here. With Perkins and Williams both showing weakness with their checks, Hellmuth will want to take control of the pot. To do that, he instantly fires a bet for $4,000. Perkins with his 8-4 suited didn't have to think too long about what to do next, and does what every one of us would do in this spot and folds. Williams, on the other hand, didn't think at all. He snap called the bet as if he is holding the nuts and is just waiting for Hellmuth to bloat the pot some more. The turn delivers a queen of clubs, which makes things even more interesting. Now Williams has an open-ended straight draw and is looking stronger than ever in this hand. Even though the turn improved his hand, Williams still decides to check in order to see how Hellmuth will play it out first. And that's exactly what Hellmuth was waiting for. After no more than a few seconds of thinking, he fires another 4,000 bet, trying to pressure Williams out of seeing the river. For better or for worse, Williams almost snap calls the bet. which means he either thinks Helmuth has nothing or is just feeling super lucky.
Even a 5 or a queen can counterfeit Phil's hand.
The turn delivers a king, which completely shifts the game, and Williams is now in the lead. Make sure to watch until the end to see Helmuth going crazy after the showdown.
King.
Here it comes.
That's the ejector seat straight out of Goldfinger. Williams.
Moron, mother.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down on pocket nines. He is mostly up against celebrities, but even in those situations, people find ways to make him tilt, and Mr. Beast won't be an exception.
Now he picks up the hand that won him his first World Series of Poker main event.
As we could have all expected, having amateurs on the table doesn't make things go fast, and people are more likely to play with random hands, as we can see by the many limpers. Slime takes things into his own hands, though, and raises to $2,400. That gets snap called by Mr. Beast, and after some weird shenanigans from XQC, 3 betted by him with ace deuce offsuit.
Mr. Beast with 150 in front of him, so.
$1.3 million retail, like a 450 in inventory. The what? I just told the story like 3 times.
He lost a shit ton of money by tweeting out, I'm gonna give people free chocolate who like this tweet.
Oh, yeah.
Now we can observe XQC looking for the jack somewhere below the table, but as he can't find it, he decides to check, which is followed by a unison check around the table until Mr. Beast does this.
Well, you're right, 10.
10,000.
I don't know what Mr. Beast has, but based on what else everybody else has.
Let me know in the comments, what is your guess for Mr. Beast's cards?
Phil's gonna call anyway with 9s. Not a believer.
The turn brings the 8 of diamonds, which I don't really know how to feel about. Not knowing Mr. Beast's cards, he might have a straight or a flush draw, and I bet Phil Hellmuth is getting more and more heated with those pocket 9s. After you see Phil Hellmuth's blow up, make sure to rate it in the comments from 1 to 10 of how crazy it was on the Brat scale.
He has probably something good, and he wants me to bet. But I kind of want him to bet as well, so it's fine.
What's your call and you bet?
25.
Do you make 2 pair? 10-3?
Okay. I mean, I have a queen, so you probably have a king.
You got a queen? You got me.
Yeah.
Queen of hearts, 5 of hearts.
It's like impossible that I could ever be losing in this game. The man just bet a queen 5.
for a living?
I called 5,000 under the fucking gun. I gotta have 9s or above, and he bet a queen 5 for value on the river.
You're just not believable anymore, okay? Stop.
Hellmuth kicks things off with pocket kings. He was getting a bad beat after bad beat on this table. So now his fortunes seem to be turning around.
Hellmuth with kings now. Well, he's lipped it a bunch. Let's see if he keeps it balanced.
Come on, just
No,
min-raise
he's
it.
gonna raise
Oh
it.
my God,
Raise it up to
why?
8.
After 3 folds, we reach Chamath with his king 4 suited. It must be his lucky hand or something, because he will call Hellmuth's bet. Unfortunately for him, though, Stanley, who is looking down on these juicy queens, is going to.
Raise it. 5,200.
There's the 3 bet. Just a call from Phil. No 4 bet. Getting the other people out. That's going to bring Keating in, I'm sure it does.
Hellmuth is probably silently screaming from happiness on the inside. This 3 bet is perfect for him, and he snap calls it. The real question is, why would Keating and Chamath pay this steep price with such marginal hands? But that, I will leave to you, the viewer. The flop comes 8-7-8 rainbow. It might not be perfect because sometimes pair of 7s or 8s gets through this 3 bet to see the flop. But Hellmuth should be reasonably happy with how it turned out for now. Stanley bets $5,000 again, and this time out, only Hellmuth will make the call, with Keating and Chamath finally taking the smart and right option of folding those weak hands.
And the queen on the turn. Oh, we're going to see some steam.
Gentlemen, I can officially attest to the fact that Hellmuth is probably the unluckiest player I have ever seen. This queen is about to wipe the calmness off of Hellmuth's face. The only question left is, will Choi play it so he extracts maximum value plus a bonus of Hellmuth's rage at the end?
Bet 21.
All right, 21,000.
Wow. I have a bad feeling you have me, but I have an overpair.
Yep.
Come on, this motherfucking goddamn fucking queen.
What's that?
She's in with 6s.
Jennifer Tilly kicks things off with pocket 6s. This is a decent hand to entertain a small raise with and see if luck is on your side.
Back on Arden. She calls the 3-bet as well, so 3-way to the flop. Oh my word, set over set and Griffin's flop top pair?
This is gonna be bad for Griffin, but it's gonna be real bad for Arden.
With the board that the flop delivers, everyone has something to bet about. But instead of that, Tilly and Cho decide to check. With that in mind, our weak top pair is trying to take control of the board by shooting a small bet of $2,500. Tilly is loving it because other than a set of kings, nothing else on the board beats her, and she would love to see this pot growing, so naturally she calls. Miss Cho, on the other hand, has a completely different plan. She is not waiting for the pot to grow. She is growing it herself. She does that by firing a $9,400 bet. Now Benger has a choice. Entertain this top pair, or realize the truth and just give up.
Why is he so serious? He's like a goober 99% of the time.
The angry man quickly decides to fold and not pursue the king. On the other hand, Tilly is more than happy to oblige Miss Cho by re-raising to $30,000 with her set of sixes.
Oh boy.
Jen re-raises $30,000.
At this point, Miss Cho should know the deep trouble she finds herself in, but still decides to go ahead and call on her set of fives. The turn delivers the 9 of clubs, a card that is completely irrelevant to both of them. If I was in the position of Tilly, I would be betting pot here. What would you? Let me know in the comments below. I guess Tilly is not so happy about my jamming suggestion, so she decides to check here and wait for something magical on river. Same thing for Miss Cho. In her case, though, that is in her favor.
And Arden spikes a 1-outer. She's got quads. Meanwhile, Jen has rivered a full house.
Buckle up, because this hand just went from pretty sick to absolutely bonkers.
People say patience is a virtue, but in Tilly's case, her patience came to bite her from behind. The river delivers the only card that can save Miss Cho, and that is the 5 of clubs. Now the only question is, will Tilly get baited by her now full house hand? Or will she read her for the quads Miss Cho has? And as we all thought she should do, Miss Cho goes.
There it is.
This is not good.
No, it sure isn't.
If Jen calls, this will be the biggest pot of the game.
Arden, you have quads because I can't beat quads.
Does she know?
I don't think you have kings full. And I don't think you have 9s full. You might have 5s full.
That's a call.
Vixen, our cowgirl over here, opens up to pocket kings. An extremely powerful hand that you want to 3-bet your opponents with. And that is exactly what she did. But against her is Zephysh holding the pocket queens, who snap calls her bet. Now only the cards will decide who will win this one. It's time to deal the flop.
Vixen, 2 kings. With a massive 3-bet. Zephysh, the queens.
They made a small mistake on stream which will be fixed. DQ with the ace-3 is folded and the pot is smaller. Even though our cowgirl queen was in the lead, this queen on the flop changes everything. But as she is first to act, Vixen decides to portray strength and bet $2,600. Zephysh thinks for a second, so he doesn't reveal that he is holding the current nuts and casually calls Vixen's bet. I would have 3-bet her here for sure.
And a king on the turn. Set over set. 14K in the pots. It's in. The money's in.
That turn all but guarantees Vixen's win. Zephysh only out is to make quads, and as you can see, there is only 2% chance of that happening. Now Vixen has only one question, and that is, how much does she bet? She takes 39 seconds of thinking before going.
There's the all-in Zephysh and a snap. What a disaster! $32,000 in the pot.
I always go once.
Yeah, sure. Vixen calls for 1 time.
Nice, huh?
And the river breaks.
Daniel Negreanu opens the action by raising to $1,200 with pair of kings. It's a textbook move, designed to build the pot while protecting his kings from speculative hands that could get lucky. Enter Tony G. With ace-9 suited, a speculative hand that thrives on post-flop potential, he decides to flat call the raise. This move is classic Tony G, stirring the pot with a hand that can either hit big or land him in hot water. Wiggins' ace-king is a premium hand, but against Negreanu's kings, he's walking straight into a dominant position. His re-raise signals strength, potentially trying to isolate against the original raiser or take down the pot outright. Negreanu steps up the aggression, re-raising to $13,100 with his pair of kings, a clear signal that he's not here to play around. This move not only protects his hand, but also forces his opponents to make some tough decisions. Tony G, ever the entertainer, realizes he's been caught in the middle with his speculative ace-9 suited. Even Tony knows when it's time to let go. From Wiggins' perspective, ace-king plays well against many hands Negreanu could be re-raising with, such as pocket queens or jacks. However, against kings, he's drawing thin, hoping for an ace to come to his rescue. The flop comes down 6 diamonds, 5 clubs, 7 diamonds, creating a low and connected board. Wiggins decides to check before seeing the flop, taking a cautious approach and potentially hiding his range. This move signals that he's either looking to control the pot size or hoping to catch a favorable turn card. Negreanu wastes no time asserting his dominance, firing a hefty continuation bet aimed at charging any potential draws or weaker hands that might want to see another card. With the low and coordinated board, Negreanu's kings are still well ahead, but he's wisely protecting his equity while building the pot. Wiggins folds with a smile, but Negreanu's strategic betting once again proves why he's one of the best in the game. Aussie Katola opens the button to 150K with King-Jack offsuit. That sizing keeps Foxen's range wide and gives Katola position plus initiative with a hand that flops strong pairs and good 2-pair combos. Alex Foxen defends the big blind with 8-6 of diamonds. Suited connectors are bread and butter, defends heads up. They realize equity well, threaten powerful semi-bluffs on many turns, and can cooler 1-pair hands. On the flop, Foxen checks his second pair with backdoor flush possibilities and tons of turn cards to attack. Katola checks back top 2. That's deliberate pot control and deception on a very dynamic texture. The front door diamonds arrive and the ace smashes ranges.
Foxen made the flush. And Katola has completely under-repped his hand.
We saw this before though, Randy. Aussie checked back Jack 10. Allowed Foxen to improve to a backdoor flush and was able to find a river fold.
Foxen turns a flush and leads 250K. From his seat, this is a must bet. He has a strong value hand. He denies equity to single diamond hands, and he targets exactly Katola's checkbacks like King X and Jack X that hate this card but cannot fold. Katola just calls with kings and jacks. Raising would polarize himself and fold out worse while isolating only stronger flushes. Calling keeps Foxen's bluffs alive, controls the pot on a scary card, and leverages his redraw to a full house on paired rivers. The board pairs and Katola improves to a full house, kings full of jacks. Foxen sees a river that shouldn't change much against most of Katola's perceived turn call range and value bets 5,500K with his flush, targeting 1-pair hands and ace X with a diamond. Katola now has the perfect shove. Jamming for roughly 6.1 million applies maximum pressure to every non-boat hand, credibly represents exactly what he has, and captures value from any flush that decides it is too high up to fold heads up.
If Foxen calls here, it's just over. He'll be down $6 million, and I don't see how he can fold.
If we can imagine for a second that playing in such stakes is possible for us mere mortals, what would you do in Foxen's position? Let me know in the comments.
Call. He calls. The biggest pot, $11 million.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on pocket kings. Negreanu opens to 1,600 with pocket kings, exactly the kind of value raise that wants callers but still punishes dominated Broadway and suited connector opens. Phil lock flats with 6-4 suited, a speculative defend that plays best deep and multi-way. Wiggins comes along with Jack-9 offsuit. His call widens the pot with position and a hand that makes strong pairs and disguised 2-pair. Wiggins immediately stabs 2,200 into 5,800. From his seat, this is a natural protection bet. He wants to charge draws and prevent free cards to the overpairs that can counterfeit him later. Negreanu calls with kings. Raising folds out worse and funnels him into a range versus range fight on a coordinated board where he has only one blocker to the flush draw. The turn brings the 10 of clubs, tightening everything. It completes some straights and increases the number of combo draws that would continue. Wiggins slows down with a check. That makes sense. 2-pair on this texture can be fragile when the turn connects so neatly with the flop. He also gives Negreanu rope to bluff what looks like ace-king or miss diamonds. Negreanu bets 10,000. This is a disciplined value protection sizing. Kings are still ahead of the 1-pair portion of Wiggins's flop stab, and they deny equity to the diamond and gutter region. But the sizing is small enough to avoid isolating himself only versus straights and 2-pair.
Oh, dang, come
I'm thinking about maybe just doubling you up real good.
Ernest let out on the flop, then called the turn. Say what you will about the guy, but he hasn't been chasing a lot of draws, so Daniel has to know Ernest has a real hand.
I check.
2-pair.
Yes.
Jack-9.
I knew it.
Favorite hand. Jack-9.
Poopy. I think it would have worked.
I mean, a real hefty bet, honestly. You know, I'm thinking like, I'm thinking maybe got an 8.
I had 2 kings, man.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on Jack-9 suited. He opens to $3,000 on the button, a classic small ball steal that also invites dominated jacks and queens to continue. Doyle Brunson flat calls in the small blind with Queen-Jack suited, a smooth defend that keeps Negreanu's range wide and retains post-flop maneuverability.
Well, that's a lot of money out there, baby. A lot of money out there.
Go and get you some.
Troy Wiggins completes in the big blind with pocket 4s for set value, and the stage is set. Brunson, holding top pair with a strong kicker, declines to bet into 2 players on a coordinated texture because checking keeps Negreanu's bluffs alive and avoids building a pot where he could be outkicked or check raised by club draws. The paired board reduces semi-bluffs, and Doyle seizes the lead for $8,000. From his seat, Negreanu's flop check capped him toward medium strength and draws, so Doyle's stab is designed to extract from worse jacks and to tax the clubs and queen-10 tight gutters. Negreanu calls rather than raise. The flat keeps the pot manageable against a range that still contains ace-jack or king-jack, keeps Doyle's bluffs and thin value hands firing, and leverages position to make the final decision with maximum information. This river is a sneaky upgrade for Negreanu to 2-pair, while a large chunk of Doyle's range remains 1 pair of jacks. Doyle checks, signaling showdown mode rather than a polarized line. Negreanu now turns the knobs. His hand cleanly targets Queen-Jack and King-Jack, while very rarely running into a slow-played full house on this sequence.
Biggest hand I've had.
Quick call.
Got Jack-9.
Tough river card for the legend. Doyle Brunson running very salty tonight.
Daniel Negreanu is about to play 6-deuce suited. Phil Hellmuth opens to 800 with King-10 offsuit, the kind of loose early raise he uses to test the waters and try to play pots post-flop. Negreanu immediately leans on it, re-raising to 3,600. With 6-2 suited, this is not about raw card strength. It is about punishing Phil's wide open, isolating the weakest range at the table, and taking the betting lead in position.
Who lost the last pot?
Doyle Brunson cold calls with pocket jacks, a classic trap that keeps worse hands in and avoids turning his medium-high pair into a bluff catcher against a 4-bet. Getting the price and curious to navigate post-flop, Phil comes along. That is a very Negreanu result. His pre-flop 3-bet range contains plenty of big queens, overpairs, and high card backdoors, so checking back keeps his range wide and ambiguous while realizing equity with his suited wheel trash. It also invites Phil to fire turns from out of position and forces Doyle to reveal how comfortable he is with jacks on a coordinated board. When Negreanu declines to c-bet, he preserves the option to attack later streets if either opponent betrays weakness with sizing or timing. The turn is the 4 of spades, a deceptively important card. It adds real backdoor flush pressure while also nudging straight grids like 3-6 into view. Phil leads 7,000 into about 19,000, a classic mid-sizing that tries to win the pot before the board becomes scarier. Against Daniel, that size usually reads as one pair or air rather than a queen or better that wants protection and volume. Daniel just calls. He is not chasing, he is keeping Phil's bluffs alive, protecting his own strong hands that would play this way, slow-played queens and some spade floats, and setting up maximum leverage on rivers that amp up the story. Doyle, now sandwiched in hating life with jacks, lets it go. The river is the 2 of spades, completing the backdoor spade flush and putting 4 to a wheel in the picture. It is a nightmare card for capped 1-pair holdings. Phil drops a 6,000 block bet, a telltale sizing that asks for a cheap showdown and implicitly admits he does not love his hand. Daniel pounces and raises to 46,000. What does he represent? From Phil's seat, it is coherent for Daniel to have exactly the hands his line preserved, 2 spades that checked flop multi-way, called the turn lead, and now raise for value, or a slow-played queen with a spade that upgrades from bluff catcher to thin value on a bet-blocked river.
Speech time. It's gotta come.
He might have like 6-9 offsuit. It's Daniel. Good bet.
And Phil lays it down.
Finally got there. Took a while, but
6-9.
I had you.
He nailed it. Look at that. That's sick. That's not gonna look good on TV.
Yeah, whatever that is, it's not gonna look
Whatever it was.
That's gonna be bad for a profile, unfortunately.
Little do they know, Daniel did have the best hand.
I play so bad. I know Daniel's playing the rush and he's going to re-raise.
Yes, that was what I was doing.
I knew it.
The analysis post-flop is not the time to get it right. You want to get it during the hand.
You didn't have a
Queen
pair?
7,
You couldn't call?
5-4.
Imagine you made like a call with 2 3s.
Huh?
What are you doing betting 6,000?
That's when I'm supposed to pick off all the chips from him. When he
bet 6,000?
starts messing with me.
That's if you have a, like, if you have
got dual smile.
Negreanu is looking down on ace-4 suited. Phil Ivey opens to 70K with 9-6 offsuit, tempo over texture. He is testing Negreanu's willingness to surrender small pots at a final table where ladder pressure is real. Negreanu flats. He could 3-bet some of these wheel aces, but calling keeps Ivey's range bloated, preserves position, and, crucially, lets Negreanu play the hand, not just the cards. Check from Negreanu invites the expected feeler. Ivey obliges for 60K, a sizing that says, I'm betting range, rather than I'm betting hand. Negreanu snaps the narrative back with a raise to 160K. That raise does 2 jobs at once. It tests the auto c-bet, and plants the seed that he can absolutely have a queen from the pre-flop flatting range. More importantly, it announces, you don't get to cruise through this pot. Ivey just calls. An elegant counter. He declines to re-raise into the story. Negreanu is telling, keeps his own range elastic, and sends a silent message, I'm not folding, keep talking. The card perks up Ivey's equity and brings the heart door. Excellent leverage material. Negreanu checks after representing big strength on the flop. That slowdown is intentional. If you're holding a queen, you often trap here, and if you're light, you want Ivey to bet himself into a corner. Ivey fires 225K. This is a pressure bet more than a value bet. He's attacking the pause and using the new equity the turn gave him to justify heat. Negreanu's call is commitment to the role he chose on the flop. Strong hands call to spring the river. Weak hands with backbone call to keep the lie consistent. Either way, the call keeps Ivey in the cage. Backdoor hearts arrive. Negreanu checks once more, inviting the last chapter in the conversation. With the 9 of hearts in his hand, he blocks some flushes, which makes this river stab a high-quality bluff candidate, and the line he's chosen credibly represents a queen that never blinked or a hard hand that improved. You are in Negreanu's seat. All game long, both players showed bluffs. What is your move, call or fold, and why in one sentence? Best clear answer gets pinned.
Look, I don't have that good a hand, but I don't know. I felt like he was going to try to make a goofy move, so I might pay him. Trying to say you have a queen, sir? When do you have, how do you, you're going to learn my trick, how to flop trips? I lost my screen. I don't know. Okay, I played good, kinda, except you got there.
Everybody limps to Negreanu's big blind, happy to take an almost family pot with the loose cannon.
Buddy, he shows you nothing. He showed me a full house.
And there goes Tony G. See ya.
The flop comes rainbow, but both Negreanu and Hellmuth hit top pair. Wiggins and Daniel check. Lack attacks the standard range poke on this dry board, hoping no one has a queen. Hellmuth immediately bumps it to protect the queen and tacks any potential draws, denying price to gutters. Wiggins gets out of the way.
Phil lock.
See ya! And tries to rep a bigger queen at Phil's, and it sets the tone that the big blind can still own boards that strike his defending range. Phil, with queen 9 in position, makes the call. He beats every bluff, ties some value, and thinks Daniel can be overprotecting a queen or leaning on fold equity. The turn pairs the board with the 2 of diamonds. That card massively reduces the number of value combos Daniel must fear. But more importantly, the pair deuce kills a lot of Phil's semi-bluff equity and makes it harder for Phil to credibly have a monster. Daniel fires 12,000. This bet is thin for value plus protection, denies free cards, and prevents Phil from realizing with hands that raised flop light. Phil calls again, which is consistent with his plan to bluff catch cap lines and keep Daniel honest on rivers. The river is the 7 of clubs, a relative brick that doesn't complete the major straight draws. Daniel checks.
A queen. Me too. No kicker.
Chop pot.
Okay. I screwed that up. I should have moved in on the river. Damn it. God, I'm so unlucky. Stupid. Unreal. The deuce on the turn.
Deuce on the turn saves your
sick. He's supposed to bet there. I'm going to move it in. Who are these guys? Where do they come from? Sick.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on ace-9 offsuit. Negreanu clocks the dynamic immediately. Wiggins is the table's loose cannon, splashing around, loving post-flop control, and hating big, uncomfortable decisions. Negreanu's plan is simple. Lean on that psychology and the betting patterns it produces. Pre-flop, Negreanu opens to $1,600 with ace-9 offsuit, a hand that prints against wide callers and keeps his range uncapped. Lack and Tony G both flat, inviting the very scenario Negreanu wants. A multi-way pot where discipline and range construction matter more than raw cards. Wiggins completes from the big blind with king-queen, already signaling he'd rather see streets than narrow ranges.
Tony G checks.
I'm gonna bet 5,000.
Wiggins does what loose cannons do, fires $5,000 to protect and find out where he is. Negreanu only calls. That flat does 3 things at once. It keeps Lack in a dominated, second-best world. If he sticks around, it conceals bluffs and value under the same hood, and it sets a trap for the sizing tells Wiggins tends to give on later streets. Lack gets out of the way, and we go heads up. The turn is the 5 of clubs.
I respect you as equal as I respect Doyle, man. Because you're not slacking up on me at all. You really gonna make sure that, you know what I'm saying, you making sure I wear my stripes on this table.
That's right.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
A total brick for the main draws. Watch the bet sizing. Wiggins downgrades to a $2,500 blocker. That's the cap Negreanu was waiting for. Into 17,400. A tiny stab screams 1-pair pot control, not a hand eager to face heat. Negreanu raises to $12,500.
You beat me in the pot right there.
So
he's leveraging position, fold equity, and his ace blocker. He makes it harder for the loose cannon to have the very hands that could comfortably 3-bet. The call, not a re-raise, confirms the cap. The river pairs the jack with the jack of hearts, killing some 2-pair combos and leaving most draws bricked. Wiggins checks, and Negreanu goes for the throat with $35,000.
Oh, man, you really try to pull the trigger there, didn't you, man? Caught the jack, didn't you? Caught the jack. You had it the whole time, didn't you?
No comment.
Too late, you already nodded your head yes. I
Say
fold.
what?
I fold. You nodded your head yes, real quick. Or what? Too fast for me.
Phil Ivey is looking down on ace-5 suited. Faraz opens to $50,000 with jack-10 offsuit. From late position, this raise represents a wide, linear range that includes suited connectors, broadways, pairs. IB calls with ace-5 suited. The call keeps his range uncapped and deceptive.
Were you good at math in school?
I don't think that was math. I don't know what you even call that.
I think it's called edge sorting.
This paired low board is excellent for the caller in IB's seat and uncomfortable for two overcard ranges. Faraz continuation bets $80,000. That bet leverages his pre-flop initiative and targets autofolds from unimproved overcards. IB calls. He continues with several classes. Sean, sandwiched with king-queen and facing strength behind, folds correctly. Most players reduce bluffing frequency on triple-paired textures because full houses are the natural response to aggression. Faraz checks, which reveals a cap. He rarely has full houses after betting and then checking this turn. IB checks back intentionally. The check preserves his bluffs, protects his ace-high and small pair bluff catchers. This is the nut card for IB strategy. On 6-6-6 with an ace, the player who can credibly have ace-x boats gets to polarize. Faraz checks again, confirming the cap at trip sixes and missed spades. Ivy bets $250,000. The sizing is large by design. It tells a polarized story of full houses and bluffs and targets exactly Faraz's checking range, trip sixes that hate calling a big bet when the ace pairs the board, and busted spade draws that will fold. Since Ivy can arrive with ace-x suited from pre-flop and never needed to raise earlier on such a static board, his value is believable.
The qualifier in the very first heat made the same mistake as the legend Phil Ivey.
Oh, I put the wrong one out. What happens now?
Unless he folded a better hand.
I don't think he did.
She was ace five.
Did you fold a better hand for us?
6 is full of aces. Faraz did not fold a better hand.
I'm mixed up. Okay.
Phil takes the pot.
Goofy limps the big blind with king 10 suited. Limping protects his range, invites isolates from hands he dominates, and keeps the pot manageable out of position with a hand that plays cleanly post-flop. Nick airball isolates to $1,200 from under the gun with queen 9 offsuit. The raise pressures the limp, seizes initiative, and expects to realize equity against a single caller. Goofy calls. Suited Broadway is too strong to fold, too thin to 3-bet out of position, and calling keeps Nick's range wide. Goofy checks. On an ace-high, 2-diamond texture, Nick is supposed to continuation bet often, so checking lets that happen. Nick obliges for $700, a small, range-driven stab that folds air and taxes random backdoors while leaning on his perceived ace advantage. Goofy check raises to $1,700. King 10 of diamonds is a premium semi-bluff, gut shot to Broadway, the king high diamond draw, and even a royal flush. Raising clears out weak queens and 5s to 9s, charges worse draws, and starts a pot that can realize maximum value when diamonds or Broadway materialize. Nick calls with middle pair and position, keeping bluffs in and retaining control of the pot size. Bang! The third diamond lands and Goofy upgrades from a draw to the nuts. With his story perfectly coherent after the flop raise, he leads $2,000. Leading now Prince, worse diamonds pay, stubborn Queen X pays, and some Ace X talk themselves into continuing because the Jack is a counterfeit scare rather than a clean killer in their minds. Goofy goes for a small, irresistible value bet of $3,500. After check raise, lead, and a blank river, this size targets exactly what Nick shows up with most often.
Makes the call. Royale with cheese. Royal.
Brandstrom is looking down at King 3 offsuit, but he's heads up against Suitsor, who raised to $900,000 with 6-3 suited.
Does not mix in the re-raise, just a call. Hello, Nurse. OMG.
Full house for Brandstrom. Trip 3s for Suitsor.
Brandstrom checks. Textbook trap play. He's got the board absolutely crushed. And by checking, he's giving Suitsor the green light to bet with all his bluffs, value hands, and even air.
He might be tempted not to check raise here, but we can see if he plays it quick, all of the chips are going to be going into the middle.
Here comes the C-bet. 700,000 into 2.2 million.
A standard continuation bet. But in reality, he's walking straight into quicksand. With trip threes, he's betting for value and protection, expecting to get called by weak kings, pocket pairs, or even some ace-high floats. From Brandstrom's perspective, this is perfect. His check has worked.
You can only play this slow, right? You've just got so much of this, and it's so unlikely that your opponent does. What can you do? Oh, come on. Jeez.
The turn comes 6 of diamonds, and Brandstrom checks again. It's a brilliant move because it keeps the door wide open for Tsutsor to keep betting.
Does Brandstrom want to now start getting all the chips in on the turn?
Tsutsor fires 1.7 million. This bet makes perfect sense from his perspective, and Brandstrom has checked twice, showing no aggression.
You gotta just call again and go for value on the river, and you are gonna get it.
The 10 of hearts lands on the river. And once again, Brandstrom checks. He's played this hand perfectly so far. By checking here, he's saying, I don't have a strong hand. You're totally safe to bet again.
The check raise on the river means he'll get to play for all of the chips.
The nonchalant 6 million bet.
Tsutsor falls for it completely unaware he's about to get wrecked. But after investing so much, can he actually fold here?
There's the shove, checks his hand, snap calls, thinks it's all over, but it is not.
Too excited, no.
House over house, ridiculously sick cooler.
Doug Polk kicks things off with Jack-9 suited, a hand that can pop off real hard if the flop comes just right. Doug has already 3-bet his opponent raised, trying to portray strength. As he is calling, I am inclined to tell you that Owen, the guy with the pocket tens, is an amateur, and I think this is his first professional table. Imagine playing versus one of the biggest names in the game on your first table.
Doug hits 2 pair on this flop.
Owen's got some escape hatches, though, in the form of an 8 for a straight or, of course, a 10.
After the flop delivers a 2-pair for Doug Polk, I am starting to worry about our friend Owen here. He is indeed holding a good pair and has an open-ended straight flush draw, but Doug is currently holding the nuts and is looking to apply pressure with another $4,000 bet. Our amateur has a big decision to make, so he naturally takes his time, but ends up calling. I bet he is feeling the straight on the river.
How much do you have behind here? It's like 23, 43, 50?
Oh my goodness.
Nice turn card for Owen. Not only does he have the straight, he's got straight flush redraw.
With the straight on the turn, Owen now takes 35 seconds to decide that he wants to bet more than half the pot for $10,000. But don't worry, I have sped it up for you.
Owen goes for a 2/3 pot bet. Sets up a nice-sized river shove, should he get called.
After the amateur bet, Doug's call was almost like a snap call compared to how long they're taking to decide this game.
Doug's not going to go anywhere. 2-pair just yet. And there's the straight flush.
Wow. All in.
Owen does go all in.
Really brutal.
But if Owen taking so long to decide wasn't enough, Doug Polk contemplated the laws of the universe for 1.5 minutes before making his decision. But once again, I have sped up to his decision. Let's check it out.
Queen X of diamonds. I have so many hearts, though.
Doug is just trying to think of hands that he beats.
I don't like this one bit. I don't like this one bit.
Yeah, maybe Owen has king, queen of diamonds exactly.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on queen 10 offsuit.
Let's do something fun. Let's just do that. You have position, you can't fold.
His late position open sits squarely in a linear cutoff range. Scott defends the big blind with ace-9 offsuit, a textbook continue that dominates Negreanu and realizes well closing the action.
Pony G move one time. Little dark fire.
Because Negreanu bets in the dark, his $2,200 flop stab isn't tailored to the texture that appears. On this board, the big blinds defend has more one-pair coverage while the opener keeps the higher overpairs and sets, though those are a thin slice. By only calling, he keeps Negreanu's bluffs alive, protects his check range, and avoids isolating himself against better jacks and sets.
I don't want to see it.
Another 9.
What is it? Tell me.
It's the 9 of spades.
Yes! Okay.
A paired top card massively benefits the blind's defend, which contains far more 9x. Negreanu's second bet in the dark for $5,600 is now functionally capped and almost never a 9.
Yeah, see, that was stupid. Oh, brother. Kind of stupid of me to do that. I want to see the river. Show me a rabbit hunt.
Daniel folds.
Okay. Phew. No, I didn't. Aha! I'm going to straddle.
Punish him.
First one. Come on, punish me.
With the straddle on, both limpers show weakness. Daniel picks up 7-4 suited and bumps it to $3,200. That raise isn't hand strength motivated. It's a squeeze that punishes wide limp ranges and buys position and initiative heads up.
Aha, it worked. Sweet. Plan came together. Position, big pot. They already sucked in for 800. Cannot fold.
Why are you telling me?
I don't know. Why not? You're there. What, do you got other things going on?
Yeah.
Sorry, did I bother you while you were busy? Pardon me. Okay. What do you want to do now?
Raise pot.
Do that. Do that. Let's get it on.
Scott Seaver re-raises to a polarized, exploitative 3-bet that attacks straddle squeezes. His value range here is the usual ace through 10s, balanced by junky, high-card disconnected bluffs that block nothing but play well as one-and-done pressure.
One of us is going to go all in this hand. Eventually, on the turn, something funky's going to happen. Could be me, but I got reload money, so whatever.
Doyle Brunson escapes. Daniel's call keeps Seaver's air in, retains position, and realizes the equity of a hand that flops, draws, and low pairs surprisingly often. Seaver's check protects his checking range and avoids getting raised off equity by hard draws. Daniel checks behind. His 4 is a classic bluff catcher, too good to bluff, too weak to value, and he's thrilled to bank a free card in position. This is a range shift card. It spikes Seaver's value range far more than Daniel's. At the same time, hearts miss and Daniel retains many floats that would attack when checked to. Seaver checks again, keeping bluffs alive and inducing. Daniel obliges for $12,000 credible from hands like Ace-Queen, Queen-Jack of Hearts, or a delayed stab with Ace-High plus Heart Blocker. But 7-4 suited doesn't hold useful blockers, so the bluff's equity and denial are limited.
I guess I could have checked. Might have been better for me if I checked. Because if I checked, you couldn't have raised me. It's so weird when he does that. We're gonna have to check out.
Daniel folds.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on 8-6 suited. Calacanis opens to $1,200 with pocket 7s. That raise is standard from middle position. It folds out trash and plays well post-flop. Negreanu flats with 8-6 of diamonds. He is not calling to hit a pair. He is buying position, playability, and high equity boards. This texture massively improves the caller's range relative to the raiser. The pre-flop opener still has all the overpairs, but the callers capture the lion's share of the strong draws and 2-pair straight candidates. Negreanu's exact hand is near perfect. He leads $2,500 into 2 opponents, a small but purposeful stab that pressures ace-high and pocket 8s through 10s, while charging draws that he blocks and dominates.
Got a little some of that.
This card flips equity on its head. Calacanis spikes a set, but Negreanu's straight also arrives. Importantly, the new straight is very available from the caller's range. Any 6 often peels the flop, so Calacanis' set is strong but not invulnerable. Negreanu bets $7,000. That sizing accomplishes 2 things. First, it prints value immediately against 1-pair overpairs that do not believe, and against sets that fear raising into a straight. Second, it continues to charge diamond draws that are now drawing thin versus a made straight. From a range standpoint, the flat is telling. He is unlikely to have an overpair without redraws to a full house that wants protection. The board pairs. Full houses become possible and, in fact, Calacanis improves from a set to 7s full of 4s. Negreanu's straight loses equity versus the portion of Calacanis' range that slow-played the turn with boats in mind. But many worse hands still exist.
This is reminiscent of a typical hand for Daniel Negreanu. Let's have the nuts with a redraw and see what happens. Let's pair the board, yeah. God, really? No, gotta be kidding me.
Guess that means you don't have the Jack-9 this time.
No, I had the nuts with a redraw. What'd you make it? How much?
35 more. Only 35 more.
Only 35 more? Why?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
What did you have like, you don't have a set, right? Because you would have raised me?
Yeah, I would have raised it the set. I could have flopped a straight.
Could have flopped straight. Okay, I can beat that. Whew.
I could be on a flush draw. Could be busted.
Yeah, that's true too. 4s and 5s. No, I think you raised
I could
me.
have quads.
Yeah, you could have that too.
I could have aces and just be overplaying them.
I was gonna fold for sure, and now I'm thinking about calling you. So you're doing a good job if that's what you want.
Now I'm gonna be quiet and pretend that's not what I want. Tip the dealer $1,000. I will show it to you. You have to split it with the other dealer.
Oh, guarantee.
That's a good deal.
So, $1,000, you know what I have. You don't have to live and wait till the end of the.
There's the call.
Sorry, not in the hand.
He called it. 7.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on pocket queens. He opens to $1,200 from early position that raise sizes well for a loose table and keeps his range strong and uncapped. 4 players continue. David Williams flats with pocket kings. Against this many callers, Negreanu's plan is straightforward.
We have some action.
Play pot control against condensed ranges, realize position, and let dominated one-pair hands overplay on later streets. The monotone, king-high board polarizes ranges immediately. Nut advantage lives with suited spades and sets. Top pair advantage sits with the blind callers and late position flats. Mosseri checks.
Everyone take a look, see if they have a spade in their hand.
Calacanis takes a small stab of $4,000 into about $20,000, a sizing that usually represents one pair without a high spade, weak spade draws, or simple information gathering. Negreanu just calls with queens. That flat keeps his range wide and invites dominated value behind to continue. Critically, holding the queen of spades blocks the nut flush combinations and secures useful run-out equity if a 4th spade arrives.
Owen.
And the loose cannon's all in.
Cannon time.
Abe and Jason are out.
Oh boy. Gamble, gamble.
You don't have much money.
26.
Count what you got. Let's have a count of the loose cannon one time.
Boy, here you go.
This could be
It's like 75.
this could be that time here.
On the 4.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you're supposed to gamble sooner or later.
Daniel calls.
Pair the board, I call.
David's in 2.
Got a flush.
Oh no! Okay.
Wow.
Well, you would have busted me anyway. Okay, I got a big side pot working. So let's just have a spade.
Let's pair the board.
Just do one time, right?
I would like to do more than one, but actually screw that. One time.
What the heck? That's a spade.
Good hand.
Will's out.
Oh, so I won that pot for sure. Go ahead, pair the board. What the hell?
All right, he wants to pair it, so just pair it.
It doesn't.
Scooped it.
Wow.
Sick hand, buddy. Sick hand. Tell your wife I'm sorry.
$383,000 pot.
Ryan is looking down on ace-deuce suited. He got involved in a few bad beats that night, but little does he know the worst is yet to come. Nick airball takes the button and turns pre-flop into a leverage spot built on position and blockers. His small 3-bet keeps his range wide and the stacks deep, daring the blinds to define themselves out of position. Ryan answers with a chunky 4-bet from the blind, the classic polarized blend of premiums and suited wheel aces that block 5-bet value. Nick's 5-bet to 33K is deliberately petite and keeps everything playable. That sizing telegraphs polarization 2 hands happy to shovel later, and a few suited high-card bluffs that block premium combos and still see flops well. King 9 suited is exactly that kind of wolf in sheep's clothing. It removes King X from Ryan, plays clean on Broadway boards, and retains disguised equity on monotone textures. Ryan's call with ace-2 suited preserves his 4-bet bluffs and defends his story, but it consigns him to the worst seat in a 5-bet pot and leaves him short on nuttiness unless he specifically shows up with the ace of hearts.
68,000 almost already in the middle.
The flop is a monotone Broadway dream for the button, and Nick has the dream within the dream king of hearts and 9 of hearts for the straight flush. On these boards, the 5-better naturally owns the suited high card advantage, so his small continuation bet works on every level. It pressures ace-high and medium pairs. It denies a cheap look to hands with a single heart, and it looks perfectly routine whether he's bluffing or holding the nuts. Ryan's call keeps his range wide but already shaky. With ace-2 of diamonds, he has no flush equity, no pair, and no blocker to the nut region Nick actually represents. He's floating almost entirely on the belief that later aggression will fold out hands like red queens or a single king of hearts. The problem is structural. Without the ace of hearts in his hand, his story is missing its cornerstone. Every call he makes builds a pot he'll be forced to bluff later with nothing to lean on. The turn is a blank for Ryan's real hand and a test of discipline. When Nick bets again for 26K, it's the kind of second barrel that keeps pressure on weak pairs and teases calls from single heart holdings. While we wait for Ryan's decision, I would be very grateful if you hit the like button. It helps out a lot. Thank you.
What is Ryan doing? He raises.
Ryan turns to the only weapon he has and check raises to 80K. On paper, it's a move that can make sense. A blind who 4-bet pre and check the flop can credibly represent slow-played ace-high flushes or overpairs containing a big heart. The trouble is combinatorics. Against Nick's 5-bet range full of king-high and ace-high suited broadways, you need the ace of hearts or king of hearts in hand to strip value from his continuing region. Without it, you're bluffing into a range that simply doesn't fold.
See Ryan rolling his eyes at himself.
Nick's decision to flat rather than jam is the final layer of control. It keeps Ryan's bluffs alive, invites another shove from weaker value, and guarantees a river spot where his straight flush is untouchable.
All in. All in.
And Ryan shoves.
You win.
And loses a $383,000 pot.
Oh, what a stupid
Wow.
error.
You're just... Never mind. Choke him freaking
Finally happened.
8-3.
Negreanu is looking down on Jack 10 suited. Lichtenberger opens the hijack and both stacks behind are deep, so the pre-flop incentives matter. With aces, raising to 45K keeps in dominated broadways and pairs while leaving room to play streets post-flop instead of taking a huge 4-bet pot this close to the business end of a major event. Negreanu flats the cutoff with Jack 10 suited. Against a competent hijack opener and a sticky big blind, that hand prints by realizing equity rather than trying to 3-bet. If he 3-bets, he invites a 4-bet from value, folds out the weaker stuff he dominates, and risks playing a bloated pot with a hand that prefers multi-way, position, and disguised equity. D bleeds into 2 players. With top pair and a backdoor club, he denies overcards a free look and sets the price on a texture that can change quickly. Lichtenberger just calls with aces. That's deliberate. Raising polarizes him on a wet board and risks pushing out Negreanu's dominated continues. With the ace of clubs, he blocks the nut flush, so he doesn't fear as many bad turns and can keep ranges wide. Negreanu's call with Jack 10 is standard. He has the clean open-ender to the nuts, excellent position, and 2 opponents who will pay him off if he hits. Turning this into a raise would fold out worse and isolate against the top of range. The 7 of clubs hits, and Negreanu picks up the straight at the same time the front door flush completes. Lichtenberger checks as well, which keeps his range disguised and preserves the option to spring a check raise. With aces that include the ace of clubs, he can induce a bet, choose between calling and jamming, and if he is behind, he carries 9 outs to the nuts. Negreanu fires 295K to tax everything at once. The bet extracts from 2 pairs and sets that fear a 4th club, charges single club overpairs that refuse to fold, and denies a cheap river to ace of clubs holdings that would love a free card. The sizing is intentional because it sets up a straightforward stack-off versus a check raise, and avoids giving a volatile river the chance to undo his equity lead.
Feeling comfortable right now. See? You can tell by my energy. Relaxed. What does that usually mean? Huh? What? Dang! As soon as I start yapping, he goes in. Oh, man.
Imagine that you are so good with the mind games that you can induce an all-in shove with just some yapping.
Tough decision. I'm gonna need a minute.
While we wait for Negreanu to make his decision, please give this video a like. Thank you.
Because you check the turn. I guess you do that with the ace-high flush, right? Well, you have to have it. I don't think I can fold, though. Nice hand, bro.
This part here was inaudible, but you can clearly see that he is saying deuce of hearts a few times.
Called the deuce of hearts. Were you hearing me saying deuce of hearts?
Negreanu is looking down on ace-jack offsuit. He opens to 400 and Torelli flats with pocket 5s, a perfect depth and position call that set minds while keeping Negreanu's weaker aces and broadways in. Pocket 5s thrive in exactly this configuration. Stacks are deep enough to realize implied odds, position is secured on the razor, and there are aggressive players behind who may overcall and sweeten the price. Turning 5s into a 3-bet would narrow Negreanu to a tough, high card range and invite a 4-bet that forces the pair into a guessy spot or a fold. The flop comes Queen 5-2 with 2 clubs and the initiative shifts. Negreanu has range advantage and fires 1,150, a small c-bet that folds out the air and taxes hands like Ace-X without a club while still keeping dominated queens in.
Over half pot into 4 opponents, this bet should come free with a drink at the bar because it is a little nuts.
Torelli springs the value raise to 2,500 with middle set. It builds the pot, protects against club and straight runouts, and forces Negreanu to define his hand. Negreanu's call is the right kind of stubborn. With ace-jack, he has 2 clean overcards, the nut club backdoor via the ace of clubs, and he keeps Torelli's bluffs and thinner value lines alive, rather than turning his hand into a bluff with a 3-bet. The turn is the jack of clubs, and it's a huge texture shift for Negreanu's strategy even though he's still behind. He pairs up, picks up the nut club blocker, and leads 3100 into a range that just advertised strength on the flop. The donk bet does several jobs at once. It denies a free card to ace-queen and king-queen with a club. It prevents Torelli from setting the price with all of his strong but vulnerable hands. And it tells a story consistent with a flush that arrived and now wants value. Torelli's call keeps the trap set with his set of 5s, but notice how the informational asymmetry flips. Negreanu has seized the narrative and gets to choose the river cadence. The river is the ace of diamonds, pairing Negreanu to aces and jacks and leaving the front door clubs unchanged.
And he moves all in. We could be about to lose Daniel Negreanu.
And immediately turns to the weapon that separates him from almost everyone else at the table, live read pressure via table talk. He starts narrating the hand out loud in a way that pins Torelli to a category.
Got ace, queen of hearts or something?
Alternating confidence with doubt so that every nod in Torelli's head feels recognized. He sprinkles in just enough truth to be believable.
It's like I want to fold.
Really?
You have a what?
I want to fold.
You don't have a fold?
No, I want to fold.
Oh, did you have ace, queen of hearts? Is that what you have? 'Cause that's kind of what I put you on.
Fold the damn turn.
Ace, queen of hearts might get half. Go for the high, I'll take the low.
Might get half, that's good.
I appreciate you watching this far. If you're enjoying these videos, hit that like button. It really helps me out. Thank you.
You're special though.
That's what I've been told. He had 5s?
Ding. And he lays it down. He folds the set.
Show like a red 9 and you're my hero.
I'll show you one card, that's good. Let's see.
King of clubs.
Wow. What a card, right?
You and him have endless trunks of money. He's a school teacher.
Helmut kicks things off with ace-5 offsuit. He is raised to $1,000, but he's up against Fishman with king-queen suited, who's a math teacher known for making razor-sharp, calculated plays.
I don't win very many pots from this spot, so.
Fishman calls. Williams calls. Deuce, jack, ace, 2 clubs. Action flop.
This looks like a fun board.
Williams checks instantly and Helmut checks behind him, but Fishman isn't waiting around. He fires out $3,000 into the pot, repping strength and leaning on that nut flush draw.
Helmuth raises.
This is a pretty easy call with a flush draw, gut shot, and 2 big cards.
And there it is by Fishman.
The turn brings the 5 of hearts, and Helmut quickly bets $15,000, now holding 2 pair and looking to extract value.
His pairs are still no good, but PH could be doing this with worse flush draws, and he's got enough behind for decent implied odds.
Fishman is behind, but still has plenty of outs to improve, and this decision should not be a tough one for a math whiz like him.
Add it all up, and Fishman makes the call.
He's looking for a club or a 10.
The river. There's the 10 completing the straight.
Fishman tries to keep a stone-cold face as he watches the river give him the nuts.
Action on Helmuth.
23,600.
His bet is an attempt to build the pot, but Fishman with the nuts is going to try to include some serious acting.
23,600 into a $45,000 pot.
This is pretty dirty. Fishman's reverse pedaling the nuts.
Helmut with 2 pair doesn't know he's walking into a trap. Fishman with the nuts is going to try to include some serious acting, waiting for him to commit more chips.
I'm not gonna let you do this to me again, Phil. I can't let you do this to me again.
Leonardo DiCaprio could not be selling this any better.
How much you got behind?
This is Fishman's way of trying to convince him he's not too strong. Helmut tries to keep as cold as possible and doesn't even answer Fishman's question.
Was there an answer to that?
Like 85 or something.
I'm all in.
Fishman shoves.
He even fake hesitated. Watch that Oscar, Leo.
I'm done, Phil.
I see method acting, improv, pantomime. If Phil calls here, the kid stays in the picture.
Ha 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 ha. This acting is so terrible that it makes you wonder if it's not a double bluff. Helmut is going to blow up after he sees what Fishman is holding.
This is so sick. I mean, is it possible that I just get cooled every hand I play here? You got king, queen of clubs? I mean, I guess so.
Phil's put him on his exact hand.
God, all that talking leads me to believe, wow.
Now, that might be real. I'd certainly be shaking either way.
All right, I call.
Helmuth calls and sees king, queen of clubs.
Bingo! Can I even play in this game? I mean, what the they find, I mean, what the
That was a great read, by the way. You had him.
Yeah, you're a real, the guy hits a miracle 10 on me, and what, you want to just step
He's
on
a
me?
school teacher, and you and him have endless trunks of money. Endless trunks of money. He's a school teacher. For God's sakes, man.
Screaming will do you a lot of good.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down on 9-7 offsuit. He limps, which caps his range and invites someone to attack the dead money. Minieri obliges with an isolation raise using a suited king, a great candidate because it has blockers, plays well post-flop, and pushes the button on everyone who limped. Locke and Martinez come along, which pulls the SPR up and widens continuing ranges.
I get unstuck. I get off the tilt juice.
Hard to get off that tilt teat.
Hellmuth overcalls rather than 3-betting, a choice that keeps the pot manageable, preserves positional leverage against the razor, and allows weaker holdings to realize without facing a big pre-flop decision. This texture is excellent for the pre-flop aggressor. As the only player who routinely shows up with strong King X after raising, Minieri can c-bet profitably. The small sizing pressures ace high, punishes underpairs, and denies equity to random backdoors while risking little against slow-played traps. Hellmuth check calls instead of raising. That keeps bluffs firing, prevents the pot from ballooning versus the portion of Minieri's range that will not fold, and sets up a decision tree where Hellmuth can choose which turns to accelerate on. Multi-way callers have folded, so we are quickly moving toward a heads-up range battle that favors the in-position player's initiative and the out-of-position player's ability to trap. The second king super polarizes things. From Minieri's seat, this is a green light to barrel because his range contains far more King X than Hellmuth's limp call range. The bet around $5,300 targets exactly the hands that called once and hate life now, medium pairs and stubborn ace high, and it continues to build a pot in case he is ahead. Hellmuth's second check call is strategic. Raising isolates him against very strong holdings and folds out hands that might bluff again. Calling keeps his range wider, invites another polarized river bet, and protects the times he is bluff catching with decent showdown value. From a range math perspective, once the king pairs the pre-flop raiser's value density increases, which means the out-of-position player should avoid thin raises and lean into induce lines. Nothing material completes, so Minieri retains a nut advantage and chooses a large polar bet of $17,200. That sizing asks a capped range to overdefend, and it puts maximum pressure on one-pair type catchers that arrived here by calling twice.
Oh, man.
Hellmuth's final check call makes sense within that framework. He beats all the natural stabs that gave up drawing equity on the turn.
It's just unreal what happens to me at this place. I mean, I'm just so sick of it, you know? I mean, I had the best on the turn, I had the best hand on the river. I mean, what the is going on in this place? They do me
what the is going on the river? How do you call it? I always think a bluff. I only wait for the nuts.
Negreanu is holding deuce 4 suited from the small blind, but he's up against Veldhuis and Harlow, who both have him beat. For now.
King 8 suited for Lex, raised to 1400. Suited 1 gapper for Daniel in the small blind. He calls. Ace 8 for Russ. He's in.
Flop comes ace jack 6. Negreanu understandably checks, but Harlow also checks with pair of aces, giving Veldhuis a free opportunity to scare them off.
He does, betting 2700.
Lex's bet could easily just be a C-bet, which it is, and Russ checks, so he looks pretty weak.
Daniel should definitely be folding here. I have no idea why he's counting his chips. It's hard to imagine a scenario where chasing this draw is worth it. He raises to 7,200. Harlow is in a good spot here with 95% chance to win.
Best hand.
But he folds.
That's a ridiculous fold. Russ just doesn't have enough time or chips to fold there. Why call pre-flop if you're going to fold top pair?
This is why you must attack first on the flop, especially with pair of aces. This could easily be a bluff, but Veldhuis has to think carefully, because even though he's got 80% equity, a king high is not something you usually call with on this flop against Negreanu.
Lex calls.
A stone float.
The turn would have given Russ trips.
Negreanu checks it over, clearly not feeling confident about his 4-2 offsuit. He's looking to see if Veldhuis will take a stab at this pot, but he also checks behind.
The river, the 9 of hearts.
Both these guys were up to the same thing, checking the turn so they can fire a bet on the river without it having to be too big.
There's that Veldhuisian stare.
Negreanu looks like he will try to represent the flush on the river. If he doesn't bet high enough, he might get raised by Veldhuis.
He bets 9,000.
This is a pretty good bet from Daniel. 9,000 makes it seem like he wants to get called. Looks like Lex might have to reconsider his float plans. Lex could very well fold this or follow through on the float maybe, but I don't see him calling.
He does call.
King Haya? That's good. Nice call. Jeez. What the hell was that?
That is just a sick, sick call.
Tony G is looking down at ace 8 offsuit, but he's facing arguably the best in the world, Daniel Negreanu, who's holding jack 9 offsuit.
Tony calls.
I'm gonna raise you. Nothing crazy, just 2 more.
To 2,800.
I'm committed.
Tony calls.
Committed to the river. He's committed.
The flop comes Queen 10 deuce rainbow. The check from Tony indicates he's not as comfortable committing to the pot as he was pre-flop, so Daniel will now be looking to apply pressure. He bets $3,500, which doesn't really give Tony a read, so I don't see how he could fold here.
Tony calls.
He's committed.
Well, he qualified.
He's got hot with ace high. The turn, 5 of clubs.
The turn changes nothing, and Tony checks again. I think Daniel has no choice but to keep attacking here.
That's 7,500.
If Tony thinks his ace high may be good, he's right.
He doesn't seem to be going for the fold like Negreanu wants him to.
He calls.
He's qualified.
Daniel is acting confident, but if the river doesn't deliver him the straight, he might be in big trouble since Tony is first to act.
The river, the 6 of clubs. Tony checks.
I think Tony was planning on betting the river but got scared of the flush.
Another brick for Daniel. Here comes the third barrel.
11,000.
Daniel's really hoping that Tony hasn't qualified.
Tony still looks like he doesn't want to fold, but folding or raising are the only options here. There's no way he just calls.
Qualified with a deuce or a 10?
Ace high.
I thought for sure it was a deuce.
I think Daniel's done a pretty good job of making this look like a value bet.
Easy money. There's so much in there. Take it.
Tony calls.
What if I'm on the show betting, I can't possibly have a pair. Ace is good. I have Jack 9.
Tony G, man.
Tom Dwan is looking down on pocket sevens, but he's up against Doug Polk, who's raised to $3,000 with 5-4 suited. 99% of players would just fold with Doug Polk's cards here, but at a cash game of these stakes, the players are mostly playing the players, not the cards. It's a semi-bluff. He's hoping he can steal the pot uncontested.
Woo, 14.
Tom Dwan raises more than 2 times to pot. This is a classic squeeze spot, punishing Doug Polk's wide cutoff open by denying him the cheap positional advantage and forcing him to commit big if he wants to dance. Doug Polk definitely knows he's a big underdog against a small blind 3-bet range. The call here is less about hand strength and more about trying to outplay Tom Dwan post-flop, using position to create fold equity.
Doug Polk opening the suited connector in the cutoff. Tom Dwan puts in the 3-bet from the small blind and flops middle sets. 31,000 in the middle.
In 3-bet pots, the pre-flop aggressor usually controls the story, and this board gives Tom all the credibility in the world. Doug's range has a lot of air here, so Tom can lean into that advantage and apply maximum pressure, knowing position alone won't save Doug if the bets start piling up.
Doug Polk is going to float.
I don't know why, but I thought Warren just said all in for a second. I was like, whoa.
Needs running cards to make a hand.
The 6 of hearts on the turn gives Doug Polk an open-ended straight draw, and knowing his maniac style of playing, it could cost him a lot of money.
Could win on the river with an 8 or a 3.
Tilt software and let's get this shit going. This should be, yeah.
Another half pot bet.
115.
And Doug's going to raise.
By inflating the pot here, Doug Polk is putting maximum pressure on Dwan's range and setting up the possibility to shove the river whether he hits or not.
I call.
Interesting.
Battling.
Tom Dwan knows Doug loves bluffing, so he checks to trap him.
420.
What are we doing?
You win.
I know I win, probably.
Uh-oh.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on Queen 3 offsuit. He opens to $4,000 after folds.
I like this.
That raise comes from a range that includes most suited queens and bluffs that keep him wide versus 2 sticky callers. Kenny's flat call is very playable if he expects the opener to fire too often and the blinds to continue light. Solomon closes the action. This paired low board heavily favors the pre-flop raisers C-bet strategy. Negreanu owns the overpairs and all the hands that can bet small. Kenny's check call range is condensed, ace high, mid pairs, and some slow-played overpairs. Negreanu's bet is the modern range-wide stab. It denies equity from 2 overcards and keeps his value and bluff buckets indistinguishable. Kenny calls, which already caps him away from many check-raise value hands. texture changes a little. 7-6 and 6-3 improve to straights, and Solomon's backdoor 8x would have picked up top pair, but he's gone. For the two players left, Negreanu still retains a nut advantage portfolio of overpairs, plus the occasional 5x suited. His bluffs pick up backdoors only rarely, so he leans on fold equity. 16,000 pressures, exactly what Kenny showed on the flop, ace high and pocket pairs under 10s. Kenny's call again narrows him to ace-queen and ace-king high, pocket 6s through 9s, and a few traps. Crucially, he almost never has trips or a turned 8 that wants to raise, so his range remains capped. When Kenny checks a third time, his range is now mostly ace-high and middling pairs, hoping to get to showdown. He has very few slow-played monsters after declining to raise earlier streets on such a safe runout. Negreanu fires a polarized overbet adjacent sizing. What does he represent? Overpairs that bet all three streets, and the thin value of a 5x that never feared a raise. What does he target? Exactly ace-queen, ace-king, and pocket 7s through 9s.
Kenny folds.
That's one of those, right, Phil?
That was fun to watch.
Let's see it then.
You want to see it? You don't want to see it. It'll tilt you, for sure.
Let's see. I want to see it then.
You guys really want to see? Make the game better? All right, show one for the boys.
Daniel Negreanu is holding queen-jack offsuit. He opens to $2,500. That's a bread-and-butter late position open, dominates the queen 10 and jack 10 holdings that call too often, has blockers to 3 bets, and plays cleanly post-flop in position. 3 callers flatten with wide, capped ranges. Offsuit broadways, suited aces, suited connectors, paired high card textures heavily favor the pre-flop raiser because he has all the strong queen X and slow-played overpairs. Many callers arrive with 8x, pocket pairs, floats, or the diamond backdoors. Negreanu continuation bets $6,000 into a multi-way field, small sizing that targets folds from ace-high and underpairs while keeping dominated queen X and diamond draws in. When Hashim continues, his range is mostly queen X, pocket pairs stubbornly peeling, and diamond hands. Ace-high floats with backdoor equity also show up. The board double pairs, which is a dream card for the raiser's queen X. Negreanu's value density jumps because any queen now makes a full house, and his bluffs retain good fold equity against stubborn pocket pairs and busted backdoors. He bets $12,000, again a pressure, but keep worse in sizing. Given action, Hashim is rarely trapping queens. He's weighted to diamonds, ace-high floats, and the occasional pocket pair praying for a river miracle. That river improves a lot of Hashim's floats to 1 pair of aces, but it doesn't dent Negreanu's nut edge. Queens still bowed up. 8s don't exist for Hashim often, and missed diamonds remain abundant. After Hashim checks the third time, Negreanu fires $27,000 for clear value.
As we young internet kids say, you're polarized. Isn't that right, Jose?
Yeah.
It's polarized.
It's polarized.
You haven't fuffled. Show me one.
Okay.
Daniel shows the jack.
I fold.
Oh, damn it.
The loose cannon is looking down on pocket jacks. He puts in the re-raise to $4,200, and that single decision defines everyone else's incentives. From his seat, he is doing 2 things at once. Value targeting the opener with a tight, high card-heavy range, and forcing the field to reveal how speculative they're willing to get at price. And Hashim, with a mid-pair, is taking the classic set mine plus pressure line. The price after a 3-bet is not perfect, but against 3 players, the implied odds get juicier, and 7s retain outs against almost anything.
Okay, we all wasted time. We did our little, every one of us, we did the, we know we're calling.
Yeah, whenever you call, everybody knew it was.
We all know we're calling. It's just a little, we're trying to be like Jennifer Tilly there a little bit. Actress.
Oh, yeah.
The loose cannon has just connected in the strongest way possible and chooses stillness over fireworks. He does not need protection on this texture, and in a 4-handed pot, any bet from the pre-flop aggressor looks so credible that it will vacuum the air out of the room. By checking, he invites stories to bloom from worse hands and gives the field a chance to stab into a board they should attack. The turn brings the 4 of hearts, barely nudging ranges, and the checks roll to Hashim. Now he fires 12,000, smart, targeted pressure. He is keying on the universal fear of trips, punishing capped checkbacks, and leveraging position to buy folds from ace-highs and small pairs that hate life facing 2 streets.
That's what you did last time.
When?
12,000.
Last night, Hashem bet 12-5 on the river against the loose cannon. Ken made the call with queens, and Joe showed him 2 pair to take it.
It was 12,500 last time.
Frankowski just calls. Note the elegance. Raising here collapses Hashem's bluffs and isolates only better or folding hands. Calling keeps the net wide, disguises strength, and lets Hashem talk himself into bigger numbers on rivers that do not change much. River is the deuce, another brick, and Hashem does the unthinkable.
I'm all in.
He's all in.
Call. 4 jacks, I guess.
Keating's looking down on ace-queen offsuit. Peter comes along with ace-7 suited, a hand that plays fine multi-way but is easily dominated by Keating's calling range. Stanley takes the button with Jack-10, a classic position hand that realizes equity well against 3 opponents. Keating flats pre-flop with ace-queen from the small blind instead of squeezing. Out of position and deep, that call invites dominated aces and worse queens to continue while avoiding a bloated pot against a raiser who can 4-bet. The flop favors ranges that arrived by calling. Keating's ace-queen makes second pair with the best kicker and holds the key blocker to Broadway. His call versus the c-bet is standard. Raising turns his hand into a bluff catcher against stronger kings and sets while isolating himself versus better. Peter's call with ace-7 is thin but defensible. He has bottom pair, an overcard, and backdoor hearts, and he wants to keep his range uncapped for later streets. Stanley's call with Jack-10 is mandatory. He has the best improvement potential with the open-ender and position. The turn ace changes the incentive structure completely. Keating now holds aces and queens, and, out of position in a multi-way pot, checking is superior. Betting announces strength, repels worse, and makes it easy for a better ace like ace-king to play perfectly against him. By checking, he allows weaker aces and floats to fire or show down worse. Peter quietly improves to 2-pair, and he should notice how clean his value targets are, aces that didn't connect with the king or queen, plus stubborn kings that hate folding. But checking has logic too. He controls the pot and traffic and preserves bluffs for the river. Stanley's check is the costly one. With Jack-10, he owns the nuts on a paired board that still grants him clear value from top pairs and combo draws. Letting it check through surrenders value and protection, and it exposes him to exactly what happens next. The board pairs again, and his straight gets stone dead. The river double pairs the ace and reorders the hierarchy. Keating upgrades to aces full of queens, Peter lands on aces full of 7s, and Stanley is drawing thin to chatter.
And this is going to get very nasty for Peter. Maybe Stanley also, but especially Peter.
Checks from Keating and the original raiser are invitations. Peter accepts with a big bet that targets trip aces and missed draws and tries to dodge raises from the few better full houses. Stanley correctly folds once the ace pairs again, straights or dust. Keating's river decision should lean exploitative here. Against Peter, who routinely overplays strong 1-pair and boat combos, a value raise prince. Keating's hand is under-repped. He blocks the most common equal boat with the queen. Peter's turn check makes ace-king less likely, and Texas Mike is capped after check-check.
Did he just call? He just called.
Not having no internet kids coming here and being tight ass. All right, and you're gonna play every
We're gonna
hand.
get that across right away.
I got it across and that was right. You're gonna play every hand here. You don't come here and play tight, okay?
Okay.
Come on internet you play like in 1 second. And when you come here now, you come to my game and you're wasting my time.
Amanda, bring a tricycle.
These kids are coming here, taking me on.
Tony, calm down, please.
All of this fighting that we just saw culminates in the hand we are taking a look at today. Our hero is holding ace-jack offsuit and has already raised to $2,500. Let's see where his aggression will take him and us.
6 trays suited, good enough to call for Daniel. Queen Jack for Alan Barry, who folds.
It's a little tight, but he is dominated.
And Reynolds folds.
Also tight, both guys were out of position to the raiser.
I'm very unhappy right now.
The flop comes deuce ace king with a flush draw for Negreanu and top pair for our hero. With everybody but Negreanu folding, our hero is in prime position with his pair of aces to take over the pot. He fires a small bet of $4,000, which Negreanu casually calls. I would bet more aggressively and try to defend the top pair from the flush draw.
The turn, the 10 of diamonds, Roble picks up a straight draw.
Daniel misses.
This 10 on the turn is a tricky one. On one hand, it denies the flush draw, but on the other opens up the straight draw. Negreanu bets a bit over half the pot and is bluffing really hard and praying the river delivers him a flush. Let's hope our hero sees through his bluff and at least call. And call he does. With the top pair and a gut shot straight draw, it will be crazy to fold the hand. The river delivers another 10, which completely wrecks both of our guys' hopes. The only question is who will bluff trip 10s first.
Daniel's got air, but if he wants to win this pot, he's going to have to use that air to blow Andrew off his hand.
After a short consideration, Negreanu fires a bet of $18,000, which sits at a bit over half the pot. And that bet will trigger a huge blow-up from Tony G, who is not even in the hand. Negreanu's bet is big from the perspective of our hero, so he takes his sweet time to consider his next action, which is usually completely reasonable on a cash game table, but not when Tony G is in the picture.
I'm going to walk out. If these guys are going to come here, waste my time, I'm going to walk out of the game. It's a joke. F***ing hell, he's thinking 20 minutes every f***ing hand he's playing. F***ing nit.
Here comes floorman Tom Keene, who's received more airtime than Hoyt Corkins, who went broke in 8 hands in the big game.
All right, Andrew, we're going to go through the same thing.
You play online, it's like quick. 2 seconds, bang, bang, they're pressing buttons. They come here, they freeze up.
With the countdown already ticking, all the pressure in the world was on our hero and his pair of aces. Let me know in the comments, what is the best hand that you regret folding?
He folds.
What?
Phil Hellmuth is looking down at ace-jack off suit. He is raised to $2,000, but he's up against Harlow with pocket eights. And Tony G, he's lurking, and he's not planning to stay quiet for long.
Action begins on Phil. Ace-jack, raised to 2,000. Pocket pair for Russ.
Pot.
Raises to 7,200.
Harlow is the loose cannon in this game, which means he's an amateur who's been given $100,000 to play against 5 pros. Whatever he makes over $100,000, he gets to keep. Meanwhile, Tony G folded, but this is not the last time we see and hear of him this hand.
How much more do you have?
Helmut is fishing for information, trying to get a read on the delivery driver. Every second Harlow spends fumbling with his chips gives Phil little clues about how strong he really feels.
Phil calls and gives him the WWE stare down. Hellmuth off the top rope. The flop, 10-6 deuce, 3 clubs. Hellmuth checks the nut flush draw.
Harlow's ahead for now, but Phil's sitting there with 2 overcards, a nut flush draw, and about 27 different ways to ruin this man's whole poker career. If Harlow fires a bet here, things could get messy fast, because Hellmuth is definitely not folding this one soon. But Harlow decides to check it back to him.
The turn gives Russ a set. Hellmuth, chips in hand, leads out to 5,500.
Gotta take a chance sometime.
I'm supposed to think you're weak, right? Because you're talking?
I won't bet more than 9,000 on the river if you call.
I'm all in.
Russ Harlow, all in.
Hellmuth throws out a little feeler bet, just trying to stir the pot. But Harlow responds by setting the whole kitchen on fire. This is actually an incredible read from the delivery driver against arguably the best poker player of all time. Now Phil's got to decide if that nut flush draw is enough to pull him out of the flames, or if he's about to get roasted. He thinks for about 5 minutes and Tony G is starting to lose his patience.
So you potted it before the flop.
It's ridiculous.
What's ridiculous?
I mean, just make a decision, you know? Like, there's other people in the game, too. You're a professional player playing against a loose cannon. I mean...
Now I'm trying to make a decision for 43,000. Can you just shut the up? Call
You're a
floorman.
professional player.
Call floorman.
You're insulting everyone. I mean, we're here. We want to play too.
He's completely out of line here. So I
think he's completely out of line because he's been taking forever to make a decision against an amateur player coming in here as the best player in the world, taking 15 minutes to make a decision.
I haven't taken 15 minutes. You want to bet on that?
Well, you will.
You're
that's
so
why
out of
I'm
line.
talking about
You know,
it.
your etiquette's horrible. Stay out of this.
Gentlemen,
Stay out. Let's hear your ruling.
We're going to put you on the clock right now. You got 1 minute and 10 seconds.
That's your ruling?
Right.
I hope you're proud of yourself, Tony.
Story checks out.
Phil folds. And those are tears of joy.
Daniel Negreanu was holding ace-10 suited. Pre-flop is all ego and leverage. Tony G opens small Houston flats, and Negreanu snaps on the squeeze to 7K.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, you make it 7,000.
Perfect against 2 wide ranges. Tony G knows Houston's call is weak money and fires back to 24K with pocket eights, classic isolation, and dare 4-bet. Negreanu takes the button, keeps Tony's bluffs in, and controls the pot. That flat says, I'll outplay you post-flop, keep the range wide. Flop comes rainbow, Negreanu's dream in a 4-bet pot. Top pair, ace kicker, clean texture.
I'm all in.
Tony shoves.
Who cares? I guess you got, what, you have kings now?
I'm committed again.
No, I know you are. Okay, you can show me one if you want.
Even if you gave me $1 million, I wouldn't show you.
$1 million? Oh boy, Tony G. I guess I should. You're a nice guy. You do good things with your money, right?
I do.
You do? All right, I'll give you some more, I guess. All right.
Daniel calls.
You have kings or something?
No, one time. No.
Jack of clubs on the turn.
Oh my God, did that make him more outs? Yeah. I just realized. Oh God, I was like, oh Jack, that's a good card.
The river. The king of hearts.
It's a scary one.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on 10-9 suited.
Who lost the last one?
Me, that'd be me. Steaming.
Boom.
This hand sits in the suited connector bucket that plays well. Versus a 3-bet, it has equity versus broadways, realizes well in position, and can call profitably against most small blind ranges.
Such a good spot.
Oh, him again, him and his spots again.
Except you have to act first.
Oh, yeah.
Veldhouse re-raises to $7,000 from the small blind. That sizing represents a fairly standard linear small blind 3-bet, strong aces, broadways, and some pocket pairs. When Negreanu calls, his range keeps most suited connectors, suited broadways, medium pairs, and a few slow plays. Importantly, he retains position and stack to pot depth for post-flop maneuvering. Texture advantage is mixed. The small blind has all over pairs and more ace-10 offsuit. The caller has more 4s and 10x suited. Veldhouse continuation bets $11,500 with ace-queen of diamonds.
I love the 6-spot speech. That was the best part of this hand. It's fun. 11. Huh?
That's a good level, huh?
It was good. 6-spot. Boom, raise, da-da-da.
That bet targets folds from unpaired high cards and protects overpairs, while keeping bluffs like 2 overcards with backdoors. Negreanu's call with top pair and excellent runout potential keeps his range uncapped. From Veldhouse's seat, once called, Negreanu's range condenses around 4s, 10s, pocket pairs like jacks through 7s, and sticky backdoors. This is a pivotal card, because trips remain the nuts, and gives Negreanu a valuable backdoor flush draw. Check-check makes sense for both. Veldhouse's ace-queen has little fold equity versus 4s and 10s, and hates getting check-raised. Negreanu's check protects his flop call range, keeps bluffs in, and realizes 2 clean ways to improve, clubs and 9. Negreanu improves to 2-pair, 10s and 9s, while Veldhouse remains with ace-high. From a range view, the river shifts blocker dynamics. Negreanu's line contains more 9x, while Veldhouse remains with ace-high.
I'm all in.
So you're saying I made a good check on the turn? Is that what you're claiming? Such level. I mean, you know more about my game than anyone, so is that enough to make the difference for me? I would have felt better if I just bet the turn, you raised, and then I called. That would have been more fun. Fired on the river. Are you hoping that I'm going to play good here? I'm so confused.
Daniel calls, and for a change, sees some good news at Showdown.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on pocket queens. He opens to $1,200 from early position that raise sizes well for a loose table and keeps his range strong and uncapped. 4 players continue. David Williams flats with pocket kings. Against this many callers, Negreanu's plan is straightforward.
We have some action.
Play pot control against condensed ranges, realize position, and let dominated 1-pair hands overplay on later streets. The monotone, king-high board polarizes ranges immediately. Nut advantage lives with suited spades and sets. Top pair advantage sits with the blind callers and late position flats. Mosseri checks.
Everyone take a look, see if they have a spade in their hand.
Calacanis takes a small stab of $4,000 into about $20,000. A sizing that usually represents 1 pair without a high spade, weak spade draws, or simple information gathering. Negreanu just calls with queens. That flat keeps his range wide and invites dominated value behind to continue. Critically, holding the queen of spades blocks the nut flush combinations and secures useful run-out equity if a 4th spade arrives.
All in.
And the loose cannon's all in.
Cannon time.
Abe and Jason are out.
Oh boy. Gamble, gamble. You don't have much money.
26.
Count what you got. Let's have a count of the loose cannon one time.
Boy, here you go.
This could be
It's like 75.
this could be that time here.
On the 4. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you're supposed to gamble sooner or later.
Daniel calls.
Pair the board, I call.
David's in 2.
Got a flush.
Oh no! Okay.
Wow.
He's got the,
no,
well, you would have busted me anyway.
Hold on.
Okay, I got a big side pot working. So let's just have a spade.
Let's pair the board.
Just do one time, right?
I would like to do more than one, but actually screw that, one time.
What the heck? That's a spade.
Good hand.
Will's out.
Oh, so I won that pot for sure. Go ahead, pair the board. What the hell?
All right, he wants to pair it, so just pair it.
It doesn't.
Scooped it.
Wow.
Sick
hand,
hand,
nice
buddy.
hand.
Sick hand. Tell your wife I'm sorry.
Vanessa is looking down on ace jack-off suit. Pre-flop is a quiet trap that Vanessa sets on purpose. Antonio opens the button light, which Vanessa flat calls from the small blind and Shaq completes. By not 3-betting, Vanessa keeps both dominated aces and splashy suited connectors in. Multiway, in position on Antonio and with Shaq behind. Ace-Jack plays beautifully. She wants exactly this kind of pot. That's top pair, top kicker for Vanessa on a very wet texture. Instead of checking to the razor and risking a free card or a check through 3-way, she leads 165K. It's a protection lead that charges every draw and worse jack. Shaq's hand is the textbook, raise the donk, candidate, pair plus clubs plus straight equity. He bumps it to 400K, telling a story of strength while leaning on fold equity plus a ton of ways to improve. Vanessa just calls. No reason to blow up the pot against a range that includes bluffs and dominated value. And if she 3-bets, she mostly isolates the strongest stuff or gets shoved on by draws with tons of equity. Flat keeps the leash tight. Turn pairs the board. That card quietly helps Vanessa more than Shaq. Sets are less likely now. Her jack stays very live, and a bunch of Shaq's pair-based value gets neutered. He still has all the draws, though.
All in.
And Shaq shoves!
I call.
Vanessa calls! It's a 10!
That was not supposed to happen.
Vanessa is looking down on pocket aces.
So it's me and you. I got to raise it 1,200. So if you re-raise, then you build the pot so big, and then you're going to get bluffed out in a big pot.
Tony G thinks he's going to outplay Vanessa post-flop with position and a junk-suited looking hand.
Keep the pots low. I bet 2,000. Yeah. That's fair, you know. I think it's better betting in a dark. A dark raise, that's hard and commitment.
The flop is the dream board for Tony. He smashes bottom 2 pair versus most opponents. This is where he starts fast playing, trying to punish overpairs and top pair by ballooning the pot immediately. He leads 2K, to which Vanessa instantly raises to 5K. From her point of view, this looks super standard. She has overpair, she doesn't block spades, there are straight and flush combos Tony G can show up with, and she wants to deny equity.
You ready?
From Tony's point of view, that raise is exactly what he was hoping to induce. He doesn't just call, he makes it 20K.
You ready? If you win the hand, you keep me quiet.
Don't believe you. That bluff I'll call.
That size is Tony basically telling a story of, I'm not scared of you, I have a real hand. The problem he doesn't realize is Vanessa loves that story. When she flats the 20K instead of jamming, she's saying, I have you in jail and I'm letting you keep betting. With aces, she caps nothing, and Tony can't narrow her the way he thinks he can. Turn is where everything flips and Tony doesn't feel it yet. So Tony keeps value betting for 10K.
You could shut me right up.
How?
Well, by being all in and winning the pot.
Punch in the face.
Just push a button?
Thinking he can still get called by worse and charge flush draws. But in reality, he's now drawing almost dead against boats and nutty slow plays, and Vanessa has him in a spot where calling is mandatory and raising is unnecessary. Full house versus full house is where bankrolls go bankrupt because nobody folds boats to 1-bet emotionally.
Now you got to show some guts. Can you bet this, or are you going to make a really weak check now on the end? Go on, Vanessa, you can do it.
All in.
Call.
Ace is full.
Wow, very nice. That's the best. Very nice.
You got screwed?
I got a full house too in the end.
Wow.
And a flush draw. See, that shut me up. Well done, Vanessa.
Vanessa doubles through.
I got lucky, obviously.
Not really. I mean, it's.
We took turns getting lucky. I got lucky to get the aces. You got lucky on the flop. I got lucky on the turn.
I haven't won one hand when I've been good. So.
Sarah is looking down on ace-deuce offsuit.
I'm gonna call.
She limps the button with her hand being super under-repped, super annoying to play against, because it's technically garbage, but it blocks top pair, and it can still make nutty stuff.
Me and Mrs. Finland right now, heads up.
I believe it's Ms.
I'm sorry, Miss Finland. All right,
What is it?
let's see a flop.
Ronnie checks the big blind with 8-4 offsuit, which is exactly the kind of hand you want to see flops with for cheap.
10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Ronnie hits bottom pair. Nothing special on paper, but in a blind versus limp pot bottom pair is actually real equity. You're ahead of all the ace highs, gutter balls, and random floats. He leads 15K, and that lead is important. He's saying, I have something, I'm not just surrendering.
You have something?
Yes, I do.
I believe you. I believe you.
She instantly bumps it to 30K. That raise is pressure, not value. She's repping Queen X and basically saying, you don't get to name the price, I do. The thing is, Ronnie doesn't go away. He doesn't 3-bet, he doesn't spaz, he just calls.
Why are you checking?
You raised me on the flop.
Num.
Ronnie just improved from, I kind of have a hand, to, I actually have a monster for this line. Trips in a limped pot is huge because again, she's never putting him on 8-4. Ronnie checks, which is smart. He wants Sarah to keep telling her queen story. She obliges by firing 55K. From her point of view, this is perfect. She thinks she already took control on the flop, so she keeps the narrative going. I raised you, you just called, you check turn, I'm still ahead. Ronnie now springs the trap and check raises to 155K. That's him basically saying, okay, I've got it. Time to pay full price.
255.
She re-raises. What?
Against a lot of players, this ends the hand. People hate facing turn check raises because that's usually the I'm not bluffing anymore line. But Sarah does something that tells you how serious she is.
Really, huh? 255,000.
That is not a protection raise. That is, I am not afraid of your story. I'm upgrading it. Now pause there and think about what that looks like from Ronnie's chair. He thinks he's the trapper with trips, and then she snap re-raises his check raise. That's psychological whiplash. At a minimum, she's repping queen with a real kicker.
Ronnie, she's a little better looking than you. We're kind of rooting for her. Sorry,
yeah,
buddy.
I know.
Maybe even something nuttier. He can't fold trips there, obviously. He calls. But the dynamic just flipped. He's no longer casually extracting. He's now in a leveling war.
All in.
And she shoves.
In Ronnie's spot, what's your move and why? I want to hear from the guys who've actually been in these pots. On your way back from the comments, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh my God! How is this happening? I thought it would be. I wanted to stay and play with you, Miss Finland.
I understand.
I know I am. I have a 4.
He shows her his hand.
Do you have 5 full or something? Oh, gee. I don't know. Do you play, how often do you play this game? Do you know I have a 4 here? You know I have trips. I don't know if I can fold this hand. I don't know how you play. I never played with you before. What is going on here? If I fold this hand and they see this fold and you have like king queen or something, it's gonna be the most embarrassing thing ever for me. You understand this, right?
Okay. And Ronnie's folded.
Holy shnikes.
Ronnie, you're going to the cage.
Trickett kicks things off with 6-5 of spades. This is an extremely speculative hand that aggressive players like Trickett love. Trickett has already raised $200,000, and our villain is considering his options.
That's 3. 335. 35.
With almost $200,000 already in the pot, paying $50,000 should be nothing. And our Bulgarian villain thinks the same as he calls with his Jack 7 of spades. The flop comes 2-9-3 with 2 spades. Now Trickett is hoping for the 4 of spades, and the Bulgarian is begging the dealer for almost any spade but the 4. After the villain shows weakness with his check, Trickett looks like he will take matters into his own hands. And he does exactly that. He fires a bet for $80,000, which is about 1/3 of the pot. Now the ball is in the court of the Bulgarian. I think his best option is to just call and play along for another card and hope it's a good spade. After some thoughtful consideration, he does the reasonable thing and calls to see the turn. Let's see how will that play out for him.
So we'll see the turn card, and it's the 4 of spades. Wow, what a card. That has made Sam Trickett a straight flush. He is absolutely unbeatable in this hand, and Igor Kurganov has got a jack-high flush, so he'll think that he's unbeatable.
This is what we call a cooler, Jono. All the chips are going into the middle. Sam has the absolute nuts. He's got the best hand possible.
The turn delivering the 4 of spade is the best thing that could have happened to Trickett, and the worst for the Bulgarian villain. Now he will think that he has a good flush when in fact he is drawing completely dead. With Trickett betting $180,000, the price of 1/3 of the pot is not too bad for a call here. What would you do in that position? Would you fold, or would you go all in? Let me know in the comments.
Mullen, call.
Maria Ho is looking down on King 9 suited. She limps the button, which already tells you her plan to keep ranges wide and let him put himself in a bad position post-flop. Ike makes it 230K from the blind. That's classic heads-up logic. Punish the limp, isolate, take control with position post-flop. The problem is, Maria's hand actually plays great versus that sizing, and her call means Ike is now in the blender with a weak, dominated hand in a bloated pot. This flop is basically nightmare equity mapping for Ike. He flops trips if he's Maria, but he's not Maria, she is. He just pairs his 6. With that texture, from Ike's perspective, he's going to get called by worse a lot if he bets, and he's also repping strong, so he continuation bets 175K. That C-bet with middle pair is him kind of value protecting and denying equity versus overcards. Maria just calls. She doesn't raise, and that flat is so evil. If she raises the flop, Ike can sometimes hero fold hands and avoid lighting the rest of the clip on fire. By just calling, she keeps in literally everything he can keep barreling with. He shuts down. He checks. That check is him saying, okay, maybe I don't need to blast with just a 6 here. Let's control. Maria bets 310K into that check. That sizing is nasty because it forces Ike to start making real decisions with a bluff catcher, and it continues the story that she could just be stabbing after he gave up on the king. From Ike's point of view, her line still looks super wide. She can absolutely be floating with air and now trying to win it. So Ike calls. The river pairs the 6. That is the cruel part. Ike goes from, I have 2 pair, I'm bluff catching, to wait, I've got a full house now, 6 is full of 9s. I actually beat random bluffs and counterfeited 9s that didn't improve. His hand upgrades in his mind. He checks, planning to catch, and Maria just rips it in.
And she shoves on Ike!
I want to make a really big fold here. I think you have it.
5 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Time to look either real smart or real dumb. Ugh, that was gross.
The one time that you called a 3-bet of mine out of position, you won the hand. Maybe you should just keep doing that. Just try it out. You never know.
How about who's 3-bet the most hands? I'll bet that.
I think he might have.
No, I think it's you.
Really? Who was I 3-betting?
Joe.
Oh, that's just you. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, maybe it was me.
Jones opens to 1600 from early position with a tight linear range, big aces, broadways, and medium-high pairs. Negreanu flats with king of hearts and queen of diamonds. Calling keeps dominated queens in play, realizes position, and preserves a range that still contains suited connectors, pocket pairs, and the occasional trap Brunson overcalls, which further compresses Jones's value because multi-way pots punish thin barrels. In multi-way, that texture leans toward the callers. Negreanu owns more 2-pair and set combinations, along with many diamond draws and straight draws. Jones's continuation bet of 4,500 represents overpairs and his equity bluffs such as Jack-10 or high diamond holdings. Negreanu check call with King-Queen is deliberate. It keeps his range uncapped. He can still have value from sets and 2-pair while also containing strong draws. The turn is the 4 of spades, a true brick. Pairs do not change. Straights brick and a slight spade draw occurs in the mind of our players. When Jones fires $12,500, he's polarizing into overpairs and ace-queen for value and a healthy set of bricked diamonds and gut shots for bluffs. Negreanu calls again because king-queen sits high in his range and carries ideal blocker properties. The queen reduces combinations of ace-queen, and the king reduces king-queen. The river is the two of spades, another brick that fails to complete for our guys but puts the danger of a flush for both of them. Jones decides to represent it and places the third barrel for $20,500, telling the big hand or nothing story. From a range lens, that story is understuffed with value on this runout. Sets in two-pair were already threatened by draws and often size up earlier. Many overpairs slow down on such a wet board once called twice. Meanwhile, the bluff bucket is overflowing. Negreanu, whose exact holding is a textbook bluff catcher. It blocks top pair value, does not block spades, and sits near the top of his call range after declining to raise earlier streets.
I don't like the way I played this hand, to be honest with you. 22-5. I really don't like it. I don't think. Oh man, could he value bet a worse hand than me? Sorry, I'm gonna need a minute. I don't know what to do. You want to show me a card for any price? I don't know.
For any
One
price?
card? Yeah, I mean, I'll give you $1,000 to show me a card. Is that a no? Okay. I'll give you $2,000 to show me one card. And pretty soon I'll get to a price he wants.
Probably $23,600.
I will give you $3,000 to see one card.
It's on my anniversary. Go ahead. Stall it up.
Sorry. Okay, $4,000, and I just want to see one card.
Take it and show him the 10 of spades.
All right, he's not taking any bait. I'm not going any higher than that. It's too late to play good, so I'm just going to go with Old Faithful and pray and just hope he's bluffing.
He is.
What does he have? Phew. Okay.
Daniel takes it down.
I was about to say, I swear, I was like, if you have specifically the 10 of spades in your hand, you should show it.
Ronaldo is looking down on Queen 9 offsuit. Sam opens to 25K with the deuces because pairs from early position play clean and he can represent a lot of high card boards later. Ronaldo flat calls with Queen 9 and takes position. Against an UTG range, this is thin but serviceable.
This is one of the highlights of my poker career.
The flop is a dream for Sam. From early position, he owns tons of ace-x and is supposed to c-bet this texture at a high frequency, so declining the bet removes aces from his perceived range and caps him in Ronaldo's eyes. With quads, there is no equity to protect and no need to deny cards, so the value is in deception. The check also invites Ronaldo to bet turns very liberally, either for thin value with a pair or as a stab into apparent weakness. The queen on the turn does exactly that. Ronaldo improves and leads for value and protection, targeting exactly the hands Sam just represented by checking small pairs, king-high floats, and random broadways that will fold. Sam's call keeps the narrative intact and maximizes the number of river bets he collects. A raise would narrow Ronaldo's range to strong queens and few better hands while killing the bluffs that the flop check induced. The river 9 upgrades Ronaldo to 2-pair and introduces the value card incentive. Once he places the value card, folding to a raise sends him to the cage and costs an orbit, so his threshold to call rises dramatically. He bets again, believing he is extracting from the very capped range Sam created on the flop. Ace highs that peeled turn, worse queens, and curious one-pair hands that will pay. From a technical standpoint, his combo blocks some of Sam's potential 2-pair calls like ace-queen and ace-9, which should make him more cautious against a raise, but the show format pushes him in the opposite direction.
Come join me, Sam. Pretty cozy over here.
Sam chooses a raise that looks bluff-capable. It is large enough to feel like a challenge, yet small enough that a proud value card bettor convinces himself to look him up. The sizing also mirrors a common live bluff pattern, raise smaller than pot, as if trying to buy it rather than extract. Because Sam checked the flop and only called the turn, his range appears light on full houses and heavy on missed floats. In a normal game, that perception might get him some folds from 2-pair, but here the rule skews the decision.
Call.
He does call.
Wow.
Sorry. Just didn't want to slow roll Ronaldo. Right?
Tom Dwan looks down at pocket sevens on the button. Peter 3-bets to $7,200 from the small blind with ace-5 suited, the classic light squeeze that leans on his perceived range advantage and punishes wide opens. It folds out a chunk of Dwan's air while still having blockers and playability when called. Against Dwan, though, that kind of hand rarely wins the pot uncontested. Dwan calls for solid reasons. Pocket sevens have real showdown value, don't fear most flops, and crucially can cooler top pair ranges by upgrading to sets on ace-high or 10-high textures. Flatting also preserves position and a healthy SPR, letting him navigate post-flop without bloating the pot pre. The flop comes ace-7-10. Peter fires $5,500 into the pot. From his seat, this board is his. The 3-better owns more strong ace-X, and C-betting denies equity from backdoor suits and gutters like king-queen or queen-jack. Dwan isn't buying. With middle set, he turns that auto C-bet into a lever, bumping it to $16,000. The raise does 3 things. It taxes all Broadway draws immediately, it announces that Peter won't get to set the pace for cheap, and it starts building a pot that can comfortably play for stacks by the river. Peter calls, consistent with top pair, decent kicker hands, some sticky queens and jacks with back doors, and the occasional trap. He keeps his range wide enough to fight future streets while not clarifying where he's at. The turn is the queen, tightening ranges and connecting with Broadway draws. Peter now leads for $15,000, trying to seize the initiative back on a card that improves many of his semi-bluffs. This stab is less pure value and more about denying a free river to King-Jack, Queen-Jack, and Jack-9, while forcing Dwan to declare strength or fold middling hands. The lead also subtly caps him. When the small blind block bets on this texture, he's less likely to hold sets that slow played the flop and more likely on one pair, ace-X or a queen, that picked up equity. Tom Dwan doesn't hesitate. He raises to $48,000, a size that polarizes his range and puts every draw in the vice. It punishes the block bet, prices out those 12 to 15 outer combos, and reclaims initiative so he dictates the river. Just as important, the raise calibrates the stacks. After this, the remaining SPR is low enough that any blank lets him jam cleanly, while even scary rivers have already been charged a premium.
Wow, all in. And a snap call. $262,000 pot. Peter is drawing dead. Tom makes a full house on the river.
Negreanu is holding pocket fives and he's raising to $95,000. He's up against the legends Tom Dwan with pocket nines and Phil Ivey with pocket tens.
Over to Tom Dwan.
That's not a hand Dwan would fold, not against Daniel, and definitely not in a $250,000 buy-in. Tom looks like he's thinking, I'm pretty sure he shouldn't flat and trap, but rather crank up the pressure early.
Dwan has just made a call with pocket nines. Perhaps at another time he might have raised. Oh, check this out. Phil Ivey's picked up pocket tens.
Yeah,
and
I'm pretty
he's
surprised.
Just called.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised by the flat call from Phil. It's usually a spot where you'd like to squeeze, especially the fact that he's on the button. It's going to look pretty fishy and quite possibly have someone play back at him.
Ike Haxton folds.
The flop comes 3 queen 6, 2 spades. Negreanu opened with pocket fives, whiffed the flop completely, and now he's first to act on this board, with Dwan and Ivey behind him, who are not exactly known for playing nice when they smell weakness.
Misses all of them. A check from Daniel. This will be interesting.
I don't think any of the three of them are going to be too thrilled with that flop, to be honest. Queen's certainly in the calling range of Tom and Phil. Hands like King Queen, Ace Queen. I expect Phil will just check this back as well.
Phil does. We'll see a turn.
The turn is the 4 of clubs, and things are starting to line up for some sneaky draws. No one took a stab on the flop, which means this pot's still up for grabs, and Negreanu knows it.
And given the fact that he was a pre-flop aggressor, both players have checked back the flop.
He does take a stab.
Dwan isn't just thinking about his cards. He's scanning Daniel and Phil like he's picking up frequencies. These guys are playing poker on a different level. Every glance, every pause, every chip toss. There's a language here only the elite understand, and Dwan is fluent.
I think Tom is more than happy to peel one here with nines. He's got to assume that Daniel's going to bet a queen on the flop there.
Well, he's got his eye on both Daniel and Phil, looking across the table to both players, and he smooth calls here. So round to Phil Ivey, and this is a tough spot.
Even though he does have the best hand, it's probably correct to fold.
Yeah, well, Phil Ivey kind of stuck there. Tom Dwan now eyes only on Daniel Negreanu, and the river's a 2 of hearts.
And Daniel gets there.
Oh, Daniel checking. He's going to try and trap him. And look at this, it might work. Dwan reaching for chips.
Not sure.
Oh, wow, Tom Dwan checks. Daniel not happy.
I don't bet my friends, you know? I don't bet my friends.
Wow, Dwan's really relieved. If Robbie Lou is a Disney princess, then her hand is the ugly villain. She is looking down on Jack 4 offsuit. And I have zero idea why she even played this hand. But she is about to call Garrett's raise of $3,000, so it's time to see the flop.
That was like one of his first TV appearances.
One of his first ones, yeah. That was like before he won all the tournaments. And
the cards that come on the flop are horrendous for Robbie, but they are semi-decent for Garrett, as he can even pull off the straight flush if the stars align. That's why he fires a bet of $2,500. He is charging Robbie a small price to see the pot, and also trying to keep some semblance of strength in her eyes.
Jack 4 with the Jack of clubs. Turn is A3, puts backdoor hearts down. And this is usually when Garrett will lay the hammer down with combo draws.
Now, it's very important to know that Garrett's stack is 8 times bigger than Robbie's. So him bluffing 10K on the turn is nothing too unusual. What happens next, though, is completely crazy, and it's the reason why Garrett accused Robbie of cheating, even though she later said many times it wasn't the case.
She's got one club and one heart, and wow, look at this. What is she thinking about here? She gonna raise it.
Confusion is the only thing that you can read on Garrett's face. He is still in a very good position with his draws, even though his equity fell to 53%. He could easily put her in a position where she needs to all in or fold. And with her hand, fold is what she must do. He takes his sweet time, so let me speed it up for you until the point where he does exactly what needs to be done, and 3-bets her for $129,000.
I think he's considering bet 3-betting, and yep, there's the all-in. There's the all-in. Garrett, like I said, he's just so experienced in bet patterns, bet sizing.
At this point, even the craziest maniac players I have seen would fold this hand. Robbie has Jack 4 and nothing on the board. Even if I am 100% tilted, I will fold this one too, but not her.
She calls?
For once, but it's up to you. Yikes.
Oh my God. We'll go to the river. The river is a 9.
It's not fucking call.
And the river bricks out again.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Sashimi opens up with pocket aces. She is staring deep in the eyes of her friend Brittany and has raised to the modest $110.
Thank you, Geraldine. I appreciate that. I'm like trying to figure it out. Like, what is going on there?
Anybody.
I didn't want to play it.
Get out of here. Get out of my
Somebody squeeze, please.
We almost get a family pot like in the Jennifer Tilly game that you should check out in the description after finishing this video.
7.
Brittany doesn't get the 7 she wished for, but the flop delivers a 10 for Jamie, just enough to look like she is winning in her eyes. So Sashimi can squeeze her with the aces. Sashimi starts off with a small bet of $400, trying to see how this low-hanging pot landed for the people on the 5-way pot. To which Brittany snap calls and Jamie takes an unusually long time to think about calling, and we can see why. She decides $400 is too low and raises Sashimi's bet to $2,000. To which both Coco and Brittany with the pocket 6s and 7s decide it's too expensive to play and fold, and Sashimi with a smile on her face calls. The turn comes the 4 of clubs, to which Sashimi checks, trying to fish out the all-in jam from Jamie, and if she was aiming for that good job because.
Jamie is all in, and Sashimi's got her killed.
Yeah, no.
Jamie looking for a 10 ball.
5? 10.
Give her a 10.
I did a
Give her a 10.
I did a 5.
10.
5.
Oh!
You asked for
Oh, you got what you asked for.
Wow.
Jamie was in such bad shape.
Daniel Negreanu was looking down on King-Queen offsuit. The table is 4-way after Tony G opens, and Viffer, Negreanu, and Scott Seaver all come along. That matters because equities flatten in multi-way pots. Single pair hands lose value while nutted, and draw heavy holdings gain. Tony G's range from early position in this lineup still contains suited connectors.
This is room for everyone to keep improving.
I mean, the way you guys all play, there's certainly tons of room.
Yeah.
Scott calls.
I'm gonna go with an old Hellmuth trick. Watch this, gentlemen. Check in the dark. How do you fade that? Seriously, check in the dark. I don't even want to see what's coming.
Checking through is revealing. On this texture, the pre-flop raiser has a lot of one pair and gut shot combinations that dislike being raised by 3 players.
See how that worked? Because if I wouldn't have done that, they would have been more scared. My turn, right?
Daniel's still open-ended.
Did you qualify?
Yes, I've qualified pretty comfortably at this point. The question is, how much do I want to put in there?
You checked.
No, I'm not. I'm not, for sure.
You're not checking?
Yeah. If you're folding any badges, you can just do that now. I'm going to put in...
The turn is the 7 of spades, a huge card for Tony G's side of the range, and a bad one for capped checkbacks. Negreanu leads $3,600 into the field, a small sizing that targets folds from the Broadway airballs, and denies equity to Queen 9, 9-8, and the club draws. Scott's call with Queen Jack keeps dominated queens in, but the raise from Tony G to $14,000 is the pivotal data point. After a street of passivity, that raise is heavily weighted to value.
If I win the pot, I'll give you your money back.
Negreanu's call with King-Queen looks ambitious only if you ignore blocker logic. He removes the queen that completes Tony G's higher straight and retains outs to the ace or 9 to make his own. Scott correctly recognizes he's in kicker jail and releases.
Wow, that was a big sweat.
Took a long time. That speech really got him.
He made a big laydown just now.
The river is the 9 of diamonds. Range-wise, it's a dagger for Tony G. His made straight from the turn remains a straight, but Negreanu's king-queen now upgrades to the higher straight. When Negreanu fires $35,000, the story is polarized between exactly that high straight and bluffs that bricked clubs or random Queen X that tried to push Tony G off a one-pair hand.
Are you also offering my $4,800 back if you...
Tony calls and Daniel wins a $100,000 pot.
I had the nuts on the turn. Wow, well done.
Cannet opens the button to $120,000 with pocket aces, a standard linear raise that wants calls from dominated aces and broadways. Haxton defends the big blind, getting a great price. That defend thrives versus late position opens. It flops backdoor straights, occasional 2-pair, and the Jack of Clubs is a premium blocker that unlocks strong semi-bluff lines on club boards. Effective stacks are deep enough that Haxton's plan is realize equity first, attack later.
Wow, what a flop. Top set for Cannet, royal flush draw for Ike.
On the flop, Cannet smashes top set and nut club density, c-bets tiny, keeping his whole range intact and denying equity from random hands. With 1 club and no made hand yet, Haxton's raise would isolate himself against nut clubs and boats. Calling is superior. He realizes equity with his jack-high club while keeping every worse club and many red card bluffs from Cannet inside the pot. The turn is the 7 of clubs, and Haxton arrives with the flush. Checking is mandatory. His range needs check calls to protect earlier passivity, and it invites bets from 1 club hands and overpairs without a club. Top set without a club hates facing a check raise, and his turn checking range is heavy on exactly what Haxton targets. The river pairs the queen, double pairing the board with ace and queen. That card is far better for Cannet than for Haxton. It promotes ace-queen and pocket queens to boats, and leaves many single club hands stuck as 1 pair. Haxton leads $450,000 into roughly $590,000, avoiding torching value versus boats. Cannet responds by shoving for Haxton's effective stack, polarizing to full houses or an extremely rare bluff. Given the turn check, his credible bluffs are thin. A jack-high flush is strong in a vacuum, but not against this line and texture.
You win.
Let's go.
Show me the bluff. It'll be a lot of fun.
Don't do it.
Jennifer Tilly kicks things off with a pair of 5s. But she's up against Hashem with ace-king offsuit, who has raised to $2,500 in this crazy poker cash game.
Daniel's out. Tilly, pocket 5s. Should be an easy call. She does.
Surprises one time, Ken, and just put the 3-bet in.
It'll happen.
Not
with those cards.
Are you feeling the peer pressure right now?
You can't think of it like that. You have to think that $800 bought you goodwill at the table and possibly an invitation to be invited back. Because, you know, these guys are helping you straddle.
The flop comes 5 king 7 rainbow. Jennifer hits the set and Joe Hashem just made top pair top kicker. And if you know poker, you know that's the kind of hand that makes grown men hand over their chips with a smile and then cry in the parking lot.
Till he donks it for 3K.
Poor Joe Hashem, this is just not his week.
Poker isn't about what you have. It's about what you represent. And right now, Joe's call caps his range. He's telling Jennifer he doesn't have 2-pair. He doesn't have a set. He's sitting on a 1-pair hand, hoping to keep the pot low.
5 of clubs, quads for Jen. This is the second time Joe's been up against quads this week.
Tilly is holding the bangers. But notice, no fast plays, not even a bet. She's hoping he has caught something to hold on to while she tries to slowly squeeze him off.
Joe could easily think he's ahead.
Obviously he does. He bets 6,500.
Everyone at the table thinks she's the playful actress who overplays marginal hands. But right now, she's successfully turning that persona into pure profit. And Hashem, like most men would, falls for her trap.
Jen min raises to 13K.
By making it the smallest raise possible, she's given herself a good shot at getting called.
And Joe does make the call. Jen's got quads and she's got herself a customer. Ace of diamonds, 2-pair for Joe. That is not a good card for him.
20,000.
That's 20K.
I call.
And Joe calls.
I call, Jen.
You call?
4 of a kind again.
Am I the king of quads today or what?
Joe can't believe it.
Really?
Schwan is looking down on pocket nines. Dylan opens to $150 with King Jack suited, classic live open that leverages position, plays well multi-way, and keeps dominated broadways in. L.A. Dylan 3 bets to $400 with Ace-8 suited, a light but sound squeeze that blocks the strongest 4 bets, takes initiative, and retains playability when called. Schwan cold calls with pocket nines in the small blind versus a wide squeeze and a single open. Set mining is priced in, and nines also realize well on many flops. Dylan closes the action by calling King Jack suited, doesn't want to 4-bet and face a jam. It realizes equity cleanly in position. Schwan checks her underpair on a paired 2-diamond board. Leading folds worse and isolates better. Dylan checks in the middle 2 overcards but no diamond and sandwiched between ranges, so pot control is best. L.A. Dylan stabs $500 into a multi-way pot. That bet folds a chunk of ace-highs underpairs, charges diamond draws, and keeps his C-bet range balanced with some bluffs. Schwan calls. Nines beat a lot of L.A. Dylan stabs and can improve. Raising mostly turns her hand into a bluff versus better tense flush draws. Dylan lets it go. No diamond, poor visibility. The 3rd diamond lands and an overcard to Schwan's nines arrives. Schwan checks again, keeping her range uncapped and avoiding getting blown off equity by a check raise. From her seat, L.A. Dylan's flop stab can include many single diamond floats. Forcing those to fire again has value. L.A. Dylan checks back, very disciplined with Ace-8 no diamond. His turn barrel would target mostly stronger hands and invite check raises from Schwan's diamond holdings, checking preserves showdown value versus busted floats and protects his range for when she does show up with slow-played flushes. 4 diamonds on board plus straights complete, ranges compress, and many 1-pair hands hate life. Schwan leads for $2,895.
Really? I played this so bad then.
Brittany just sat down to play a few hands of poker and is all smiles. But little does she know, her night won't be too long. She is getting busted in 2 hands by our villain. And believe me, they are crazy coolers. In the first hand, Brittany opens with Queen 10 offsuit. Not the greatest hand, but we all know Brittany likes playing aggressively. Brittany already raised $200 and is waiting to see who is going to entertain her tonight. With 4 more people around the table calling, the flop is going to be wild. Anyone can get a hit.
Still working on it. Oh my God! The flop delivers the 2-pair for Brittany and a set for Raver.
The flop follows the same mood of the players and it has something for everyone. But our villain, who currently has the lead, decides to check with half the table. After Brittany's confident bet for a 1/3 of the pot, Fast Eddie can't hold it in himself and wants to live up true to his nickname and leave as fast as he came on the table and goes all in with a mid-pair with only 1% equity. Our villain, who is holding the top set of 4s, decides it is in his best interest to go all in and collect Eddie's money if he is so eager on donating them on this hand. To no one's surprise, Brittany, with her high 2-pair, decides to call Fast Eddie and our villain. Something she will live to regret very shortly. Let's hope we will see her smile again this video.
Okay, here, Raver, King Jack of Spades, maybe?
Raver has 4s.
I like Ravens. I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, that's terrible. You're good, bro. You're good.
No, she has it.
Two pair. Two pair? Hey, you're good.
My girl. Oh,
my girl.
Oh, 7-4 is right.
After getting a bad beat, Brittany is now ready to try and take her revenge on our villain. And the pocket nines that she is holding in the next hand will help her try to achieve exactly that. In this hand, Brittany is again the first to raise and asks $300 participation fee from her opponents.
Oh, you lose money.
$1,500 from Rayber.
Our villain holding the worst hand ever and coincidentally the mascot of our channel in the face of 7-2 is 3-betting to $1,500, which at this point looks completely like mad play.
Brittany not done with this.
Now that our villain is deep in it, Brittany is getting ready to take her promised revenge. She calls with the pocket nines and is praying for a good flop. The flop delivers 7-queen-8 with 2 clubs. This flop is not too good for either of them, even though Brittany has the backdoor flush draw and our villain caught his pair of 7s. Our villain fires a bet of $1,200 trying to scare Brittany off her hand, but we all know she is here for revenge and is not backing down.
How much you have?
After the turn, villain makes one last attempt to get Brittany off her hand by sizing her up and betting her all in. Little does he know though, she is relentless and goes all in and is planning to beat him with 93% equity.
So kind of a 7-deuce debacle developing here. Oh, there's the 7 on the river.
What do you have?
And he still hasn't turned it over.
Nines?
$10,700.
I don't know.
And he's going to collect some bounties as well.
Brittany has been challenging Peter all night, and now that she is looking at an ace-jack offsuit in her hand, he fired a pre-flop raise with pocket 8s. But let's see if she will challenge him this time.
And does Chris want to escalate this pre-flop war?
Ludacris takes some time to decide whether to pursue the Queen 5 of spades. But at last, he decides that he is on this poker table to test his luck and calls Peter's 4-bet. But as we all know, Brittany is a player who loves aggressive moves, so she calls and hopes the flop turns out nice. And Peter keeps betting like that.
Brittany calls as well, and it's a pretty good one for Brittany, a pretty good flop.
The flop comes Jack 4-6 with 2 hearts, which is decent for Brittany. She has the top pair, and even though she doesn't know it, there is only the backdoor flush draw or the off chance for another 8 to be worried about, which is very unlikely as you can see from the 12% of equity Peter has. Despite the low chance of him winning, Peter decides to project power and C-bet another $9,000, to which Ludacris snaply folds. And Brittany decides to show she is not to be messed with when it comes to poker.
Having 2 8s and the 8 of hearts probably should tilt him away from that.
Peter is visibly confused by how Brittany is playing. As I already mentioned, she has been bullying him and sometimes losing weird hands. So now he doesn't know whether it's one of those empty bluffs or if Brittany has something.
多少啊？4万几啊？45 45 5 45 4 2次吧。哦。OK。They said twice.
Twice, okay.
没问题。
万一发错了，
It's a big pot.
波动小一点。
没有问题。King。King。
哦。
Brittany safe on the first run out.
完了。
喊什么八啦？
Peter needs only an 8. There's only one left. He doesn't find it, and Brittany gets the full double, $118,000 pot.